Hello, and welcome to Sutro Sidetalk, episode 163. I'm your host, Kamran Shishtar, and with me is...
James Seelig.
We are here today to talk a lot of shit that I wasn't expecting, because I was planning on just having us talk some Westworld Season 4 and some Bullet Train, and then they were like, hey, did you know Gamescom is this week? And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, Gamescom, I'll check it out,
And
it's
like
fine.
just opening Night Alive was like 2 hours.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to look at the rest of Gamescom. This was enough for me. Thank you. And then
Yeah,
there's the
kind of
Destiny
same.
2 new season starting. I'm
That's
glad we
what I
got.
really cared about. Dude, I watched
I'm
that stream while I was at work or at like after it happened. While I was like just doing desk work and I was just like, oh my god, it's so cool. Whoa.
it straight up was like, oh, thank God we put out this episode before we did for the Destiny stuff, because I didn't, especially after
Yeah.
this week. But we got all that news, and it wasn't even just like, oh, here's the new season. They're like, oh, here's the next expansion and all this other shit. So it was like, oh, that's mind blowing.
I
Okay,
also
thanks.
love that like of all the things I was trying to guess what this new season might be about. And like you made some guesses for who the main antagonist would be for the season, but we didn't try
Fucking
to
called
guess
it.
like theme. You
No,
did
no
call
one
it.
would have guessed that theme.
But dude, yeah, like after
No.
like the last couple seasons of like super important like dark shit, it's just like now you're pirates.
Yeah. It's
It's
like,
like,
hey,
cool.
it's Savalla's dead wife. Oh my god. Oh, pirates.
Yeah.
And then we had those two, moderately sized news things, right? It's not just a fuck ton of games for 2 hours worth and like,
Yeah.
a bunch of Destiny news. And then they go, well, Warner Brothers has some more DC news. Aquaman and Flash Aquaman and Shazam are kind of being
Yeah.
moved a little bit back there, which brings in a whole nother conversation, which, normally I've been trying to save as much of all the DC news for Cut of Steel, but it's not coming for a while. So by then, all that news is going to be only used during when we're talking about that specific film of like, oh, what's going on with this film? Be like, oh,
Yeah.
here's the newest updates and shit. But otherwise, I'm like, okay, we have to talk about this. All right, fine, because it brings in a lot of interesting stuff to talk
Yeah,
about.
they keep delaying and canceling stuff, and it's just I'm not even
It's
that big of a DC fan. It's still it's frustrating me.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, and I'll give full thoughts on that. And then they I'm a big Godzilla guy. Can't not talk about Godzilla. They're like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
Godzilla versus Kong 2. Here's like some of the synopsis, and also here's a bunch of casting for it. And I'm like, oh,
Oh, they even put out a synopsis. I missed that.
yeah. So we'll talk about that. And I'm just like, that's that's a lot. And there was all this other news. There's a bunch of other shit, and I'm just like, okay, well, we're gonna stop it here. This is all we need
Yeah.
right now. Normally, I say one or two news pieces, but because of this, I'm like, fuck, gotta do it.
Uh,
So we're gonna try to get through all that news, and then we're gonna get to Westworld season 4, and then Bullet Train. So honestly, we've been very good with all our episodes, I would say, for a while now. This will probably be the longest one we've had in a bit. Not like super long, but probably around that 2 hour mark, if anything, potentially. Um, Luckily it's a Friday night, thank God. Even though tomorrow morning I have to go to a wedding proposal that's going to be an entire like day-long LARP thing that is like D&D oriented and everything else that I signed on for like a week ago. And we're going to watch Spirited Away too. And I also am getting ready for a wedding that I'm going to in Atlanta next week. So if you look behind me, there's a bag, like one of the suit case, like a suit covering. So I got to put on a suit and make sure that still fits. There's a lot to do, guys. I got like what do we got? 4 shows. Well, we have 2 shows, and there's potentially 2 Sidewatch shows. They're gonna be
oh my
recorded.
god.
So yeah, recording, editing, like 4 shows. Suit stuff, wedding proposal, a bunch of jobs applying for, and some other shit. And I'm like, I could do all this all before
I
Thursday,
can't believe
right?
you're still trying to like squeeze in the movie like tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah.
fucking
And you still gotta
breakfast.
also watch like Lightyear and Rescue Rangers because you want to talk about those
Yes.
movies. What is sleep? Why even sleep?
Do you remember that robot from Treasure Planet who's literally like, I've lost my mind?
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's me now. Yeah, you're probably wondering what a girl like me. No, it was it in the Mummy. What a place like me is doing in a girl like this. That's what I'm gonna be like by the end of this.
I
Just
totally forgot about that.
drunk Evie O'Connell, if anything. But yeah, this is Sutro Sidetalk. We talk about what we play and watch, plus some select news. If not now, this week, a fuck ton of news that are burying us alive. And yeah, it's a good time here, and we're gonna get right to it. You're gonna see a lot of time code notes this time because there's a lot of different topics here, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Oh boy. This is great. This is great. And it's also been a long day. So without further ado, though, I think we can jump right into it. Starting off with the Destiny 2 news we got. And yeah, it's multiple things we got in this. We got our season of Plunder synopsis here, which has already started, and I've already played at least the first.
Yeah, I did the first weeks of story stuff, basically.
Yeah, we got that. We got a full reveal of Lightfall, including what dark subclasses.
I was not expecting Strand.
Yeah, it's Destiny 2 is now officially the second Strand type game behind Death Stranding. We've done it, guys. Hideo Kojima is very happy right now.
He actually started a new genre like he wanted to.
Yeah. I'm Spider-Man. Oh,
dude, I have this conspiracy going on in my brain where, like, because Sony owns Spider-Man and they just bought Bungie was like, yo, everyone loves that web swinging. Can you show us how to put that in our game?
Yeah,
because they're both Sony studios.
I was not. Oh my god, you're. Oh my god,
yeah,
dude, what the fuck? That's. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. My brain's so fucking destroyed.
That was
right
like
now.
the first thing I thought.
About.
Like, I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't think like, oh, cool, grapple hook. When they showed you, like, showed the Guardians like swinging through the air, I was like, Spider-Man.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You're gonna see one of the fucking Cabal's gonna look up and see you swinging, and he's like, "It's Spider-Man."
Yeah.
Cabal's gonna be like, "Oh no," Kyle's just gonna be like, "I surrender." Just fucking be the Green Goblin. I just want Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in this game now. That's all I want. That's gonna be great. But yeah, so I guess going through Lightfall first, that was like the first thing they really revealed. So February 20 something, there's gonna be the Lightfall expansion, and it is doing everything I wasn't really expecting. Like, I honestly didn't think they'd make Callus the next big bad for it.
Yeah, that was interesting. He's like straight up like the next like apostle of the witness.
Yeah. And I guess what was he called? What was Rolk called? He was he was
disciple.
Yeah. So Callus is another disciple now. And it's supposed to be, I believe, that I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the different pyramid ships have potentially a disciple.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And potentially, it's not, I don't think, they're not always the last of their species. I think Rolk's just a special case after everything that happened in Lubre. God, you still haven't played the...
No, I know about Rolk, but like, I do really want to do that raid.
He is the dancing queen. You can't... He just fucking runs around and just fucking gives you the kicks and shit. I can't even...
No, I love the lore behind Rolk, where he like went down into the deep and like killed that giant Leviathan thing to get at the worm gods.
He didn't even kill it. He just beat the shit out of it because the Leviathan didn't.
Did he not?
No, he didn't kill it because this was before the Leviathan talks to the three, to like Sithona.
Oh, you're right. That would have had to be before.
Yeah, so he did that way before, and then got the mom and made the mom produce all the different worm gods, basically.
Yeah,
and then you more or less kill the mom because mommy worm. Because like that thing was keeping her alive, but also like she wasn't really alive at the same time, so we kind of just put her out of her misery, if anything. Which is crazy because, you know, it's the mom worm, and it's like, oh, that was easy. All right. More or less. Yeah, so Lightfall though, facing Callus and his new Cabal, like they're fully redesigned. Their armor is like a lot more just,
it's like purple and stuff.
Yeah, and more dark. Like, I mean, obviously it was like purple, gold, and white before for his, like, I guess
it's
faction.
Like a darker purple looks.
Yeah,
it's like
darkness purple.
Yeah,
it's dark. They look cool. They seem to have different armories as well, like different types of shields and all this other stuff. And they have like these cool, I don't even know what the fuck on their back, so it could be like some new type of weapon. They also apparently have ways to halt your supers potentially and stuff like that. Like they can halt your
Interesting.
powers if I read that correctly. So that way it's like, you know, they have to give something that's not what we got in Witch Queen, where Witch Queen, you know, we had Loose and Brood, we had Hive that could keep coming back, they have supers, and the Cabal don't have this, so instead they have something that could potentially counter us still and give us a run for our money. I did appreciate that they said they do the legendary story again, kind of like the same
Yeah,
way they
that
did
was
with
cool.
Witch Queen, which I really appreciated because I'm pretty much can do Lightfall legendary solo immediately when it first releases. The other thing being that, you know, besides the Cabal doing all this shit, we are getting our dark subclass Strand, which is like this interesting green shit that at first I thought
Yeah,
it was going to be like the poison. Like I was thinking, oh,
same.
we're going to
Until
get the entire element that's like what Thorn and Striga come
I
from.
love that the first shot that you see of it is like the hunter kind of like moving his hand through the air, and it literally looks like he plucks a string.
Yeah,
And that, so like it seems like, if I were to describe it, strand power seems to be like,
time oriented, right? A little bit.
well, no, it seems to be tapping into like the literal fabric of the universe
That's what it
and
was. Okay.
weaving it into new weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
So like it seems like warlocks, their super is going to be like, make, they said like a, you throw out a bunch of homing missiles, but
Yeah.
then when they hit stuff they unravel into new weapons and stuff. So I and they didn't really show what that meant, so that's going to be interesting to see. I love that the Titan becomes a Beyblade.
Oh my god, that shit was funny when I saw that. I was like,
uh
oh my god, it's just
he You basically put like razor gloves on, and then you just like spin around in a tornado real fast,
and
and
the
then like
hunter.
it's so unfair. The hunter gets like a fucking like kunai with chain, and I'm just like, no, why? It looks so cool.
It's, you know, we just got to get the best shit. It's what the
Yeah.
hunters need, man. I'm very pleased
Well, at
with
least Titans
Strand.
have a dodge now.
Yeah, and so, you know, that's all cool. I'm very excited for this because, you know, it's a new way to do this. Stasis was awesome what it introduced, and I'm excited to see what this does.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden they're like, you can swing from buildings like
Yeah, the fact
Spider-Man.
that like it also gives you a grapple hook is like insane.
Yeah, and
It
it
sounds like
seems
it's
like
gonna be
you could
so
fabricate
fun.
it out of nowhere. You just like make that shit appear. I don't know exactly
Yeah, I'm gonna
how many
be
different things you can stick that to,
so
but
one of the interesting things in that trailer was like, as the Guardians were like falling through the air, like, and the Cabal were like chasing
the
them and
hunter
following
like
them
hit
down.
one while
Yeah,
he was
the
falling.
hunter like hit one of the Cabal, and it seemed to like unravel him
Yeah,
into whatever. So I
into
wonder if
nothing.
you have to like, yeah, and then he did his grapple hook. So I'm wondering if like maybe you have to like hold charges by like killing enemies
I
somehow
mean, that
with
could
it.
be, that was probably the melee ability, if anything.
That's also true. It could have just been a different ability.
Yeah, and I like that because it's like a weird like it's a melee that isn't like a throwing knife because it's something you're still holding, but it
Yeah.
just goes far reaching, which I think is really interesting because we've never gotten something like that before. I think the closest thing is the arc strider style where you slide and jump up and it sends like a sheet of lightning down.
Yeah.
But it looks really fucking cool and I'm really excited for
Honestly,
this.
I'm most intrigued by like the setting that they mentioned.
We
Because
go
like
to
when they were first
Neptune.
showing when they were first showing the city, I was like, oh cool, are they gonna bring back Titan and we're gonna get to like explore the arcology? Like, no, that's not even Titan. That's
That's
Neptune.
not even a
And
moon.
there are
This is a fucking
people there.
planet.
And there are people there that escaped the collapse, and they've just been keeping on going, hidden and advancing their technologies, and like they got their own guardian type thing called like Cloud Striders.
Yeah.
And like, dude, I'm so interested in like learning all about that shit. It sounds so cool.
What's so amazing about this is that, you know, we get these cloud striders and the fucking weapons they use look so insane where they're just like fabricating a fucking gun out of
Yeah, that
nothing, it
too.
looked like, and they shoot the pyramid ship and I'm like, oh, we're gonna get that big of firepower. Okay, this will be interesting.
It's like, nope,
And
that's a Cloud Strider.
yeah, and it's just crazy how strong potentially they are, and just the concept that okay, this city the planet survived the Great Collapse, and it's a golden age planet that kept advancing. That
Hmm.
is insane. So the shit that
And
I
we've
mean,
never been able to see like what the Golden Age looked like.
yeah,
Like we've only seen what like we heard in way back in Destiny 1, we got like a little snippet in the beginning of what the Golden Age was like before the darkness came.
the
And that
only
was
thing
it.
we have of the Golden Age is select weapons, ships, and sparrows that
Yeah.
say, "Oh, a product of the Golden Age" or something like that. Aside from that, there's not really anything else, unless you count giant Clovis spray robot head.
Yeah, technically.
That I don't want to count at the same time. It'll be really interesting, and you look at the place and it's fucking neon, and they show the new Lightfall logo and it's neon as fuck, and it's so
Yeah.
funny when they show like the side by side of old Lightfall logo where it is like the pyramid ship and it's like, oh, the light's coming down, you're like, oh shit, it's fucking dark, and the new one's just like,
It's literally the Lightyear font.
yeah.
It's
I'm like,
hilarious.
it's so bright, the fucking colors, this is like the polar opposite of what you showed us last year,
I also
which
love that
is,
Callus is just like parked his ship on Neptune.
yeah, it's just there. It's just
Uh,
fucking over there, and I love
Not the Leviathan,
they show a
but
naked
like,
Callus too, which is
yeah, I don't know
funny.
what that was all about.
Yeah,
I
he's
guess he's not a
oh, come with it.
fungus.
Yeah, the witness is there too. They're both fucking there. The witness is like talking down to him, like,
Yeah.
man,
What
Cloudhead.
what was interesting is he seemed to be describing the Guardians to her and like why they'll never give up and stuff like that. And she's like, yes, I expect that, or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, it'll be really weird. It's not something honestly, I thought Callus would be like a season villain eventually, and then
Yeah.
we'd take him
I
out in the
didn't think he'd be
season
like a major
expansion.
bad guy.
Yeah, because I wasn't. Then again, I wasn't exactly sure how Lightfall would go because it sounded like Lightfall, we're getting fucked, and we have to basically like come at last, final stand and final shape. But
Yeah.
it seems like then okay, so we're gonna get a lot more of the witness, I think, but it's still gonna be like the witness will do something at the very end after we probably kill Callus, and then he'll do whatever, and we basically have to fight whatever that is or different factions of his throughout all the seasons leading up to final shape, where we basically go head to head completely with
That could be
the
interesting.
witness. I think that's what's gonna happen. Or at least it's the most logical, I think, way to do it, if anything. But either way, Neptune, fucking awesome. Cloud Striders,
Yeah.
like fuck. Callus
Yeah,
and everything else.
everything.
Everything.
Strand.
Spider-Man. Yeah,
I'm in.
I'm Spider-Man. I'm fucking swinging shit like, oh boy, yeah, it's be fucking great, Oh my god. And lights, a lot of lights. So that's coming next February, which it was the first thing announced for February. And I'm like, oh, great, that's awesome. It's not gonna be like last year where everything was pushed into February. And then they go
Yeah.
like, oh, yo, Hogwarts Legacy coming in February. And I'm like, no, don't do this to me.
Yeah.
Don't fucking do it. And then they announced another game. I forget what other game they just said is gonna come in February now too. Another game got like pushed to February. And I'm just like, why are you guys fucking doing this? Like, what made you think this was cool? Wait, is Starfall also coming in February? Starfield?
Starfall. I don't remember.
Starfield? I feel like
I
it's
know.
coming.
I just know it got delayed until like next year.
We don't know when next year, right? Was that
Yeah, they may
maybe,
not have actually
maybe it's
said.
Redfall. Maybe Redfall's coming. That's not something I'm gonna worry about though. Yeah, that's fine. If
Is
Redfall,
Redfall not coming out this year?
no, they delayed that.
Oh right, yeah, they delayed
remember
that
we said
too.
like there's some small little Obsidian game coming out instead. But that just means like February's gonna be another fuck zone again. And
Yeah, I think it's just 2023 for now for Starfield.
okay, yeah. It's gonna be a thing of just how many games are there, like I said. But then we got Season of the Plunderer. Oh, actually, no, they did say in between everything, like they're like, okay, Destiny 2 coming to Epic Games Store now. Everything is gonna be there, and you get all the expansions. I think they said too, which is really cool for those people.
Well, if you get it on Epic, you get the 30th anniversary for free.
That's what it is. Everything else is already there for you to purchase.
Yeah,
Is that what it
everything else
was?
is there for purchase, and they also said that like on all platforms, all content will be free until the 29th.
That's what it was. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what the thing was. Yeah, so you get a little extra. You get basically you're saving $30 if you get it on Epic Games Store now. If you jump on there and then tie that into your account, even though I already have that, so it doesn't really matter. And I already don't. I have it on Steam. It doesn't matter there too. But that's there. There's a whole Fortnite crossover, which I will say the skins
Yeah,
actually look fucking cool for
they
the Hunter and
do. I
Titan.
just hate that they're Fortnite skins.
I
Even
know.
though like the Titan has the Dark Knight
It's like the knight stuff, and then the Hunter is like an
yeah.
assassin type thing.
I
The
just like that
Warlock just looks like a fucking
yeah, they give them
whatever.
the Kitsune mask, which is weird.
Yeah, just the Warlock just looks weird.
Yeah.
The and then they show like, oh yeah, and the Guardians and stuff will be in Fall Guys as well as in Fortnite.
Yeah.
And I crack up because someone's showing me all the fucking emotes in Fortnite with Zavala, and it looks so fucking wrong. But also they're
Yeah.
like, eventually originally they had Kate 6 in it too.
I saw that,
With
and it's
the
like a
fucking grave.
tombstone.
Who did
uh,
this? Who's done this? What's the bastards?
yeah, it
Oh
was
my
interesting that
god.
they chose like Ikora, Zavala, and the Stranger.
Stranger. We needed a hunter,
Yeah.
so they put the stranger, which
Not
is
Crow.
yeah. You could have put Crow, but whatever. I guess I
Yo,
guess
if
they
they
wanted to.
actually had Crow in there, I might have
They
actually bought
wanted
him.
a. They still
That's
wanted.
sad.
They wanted an EXO. That's why they wanted to put an EXO in. They could have still put
Okay.
Cade, but
I
I
can see
guess
that.
EXO is the stranger is more relevant now because Cade
Dude,
is just
fucking
a corpse.
Banshee. Put Banshee in there.
Fucking yeah, just
He's every time you pick up a gun, he's like, nice gun.
I don't even know where the fuck. Don't worry, Banshee will forget all of this by the time this is over. He's basically
Yeah.
got robo dementia. Oh god. And then
It's been reset so many times he doesn't even remember anything anymore.
I forget. I have to check and see because they basically you can see like an Eververse map out of what's going to be like for Bright Dust every week, kind of. So I have to see if they're going to actually do the Fortnite skins only for purchase because that is you know how there's 2 ornament sets each
Yeah.
season. There's one that's in the season pass, and then there's one in the Eververse. So you can either buy with silver or like periodically throughout the season will appear as one piece will appear at a time for like Bright Dust. I'm wondering for the Fortnite one, is that going to be the same, or is that going to be something you can only purchase?
That's a good question.
Deal? So I do want to find
Yeah.
that out. I'm going to find that out soon, potentially in the next couple days, because I think they'll show like a full map out of everything, like I said. And then I'll see whether or not I have to fucking throw down for this shit or not, because I really just don't want to pay any money at the same time. There was Fortnite shit, there was Epic Games, and then they said no more vaulting of content. I mean, not of expansions. So, I mean, obviously the seasonal stuff will still go away after each year, but
are they still planning to vault Shadowkeep and
no,
stuff?
that's what they're saying. So, starting with Shadowkeep, nothing else is like Forsaken's the last thing to lose. So, we're not getting, and pretty much I think they meant Destinations too. So, the Tingled Shore and Forsaken were the last 2 things we're getting taken away, besides the seasonal stuff that comes like at the end of the year and whatnot.
Interesting.
Yes,
okay.
because they said they've been working on a lot of stuff on the back end to try to like upgrade their engine to be able to support more and more, which I get would be also a feat at the same time. Like that's a tough thing for a dev team to do, I'm pretty sure, especially mainly because not even because it's like it's mainly because it has console versions. PC you potentially have an easier time because it's also
the fact that it
console.
still has PS4 and Xbox One versions is what's probably making it so much harder. Because
Yeah.
like if it was just PS5 and Xbox One and PC, like those are all pretty modern things that can handle like pretty like graphically intensive shit. But like
yeah,
I like
not even that. It's just the sheer amount of content on there that just takes the hard drive space. Just kind of like
before they vaulted a bunch of stuff, like when I was playing on my PS4 Pro, it was like it would take 5 seconds to open the character menu.
You had to keep deleting shit off your
not the character loading screen, the like my inventory.
Yeah.
So when I'm like in the middle of a gunfight and I'm like, I need to change to something else real quick, I ain't doing that real quick.
Yeah, so
wasn't going into back then. Like once they fixed it, it was so much, or not fixed it. Once they like reduced the file size, it was so much better. And then once I got a PS5, I was like, well, there is no loading anymore. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was good. It was good though. I enjoyed it a lot. that they're going to do this, or I enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy a lot that they're doing this and kind of keep everything in,
Yeah.
because they also emphasize too that they're like, you know, we want the full Darkness saga to stay in
Oh,
there, which starts
and
really with Shadowkeep for the most
yeah,
part.
and Looking for Guardian is going to be in the game now,
Yeah,
which is so nice.
that's gonna be great. That's gonna help a lot of clanless people. I mean, really, this is for people that are usually
Yeah,
solo runners like James,
yeah,
who can now
and
find
like using the
people.
app is like pretty nice. It's just it would be way more convenient to just have it like already in the game for
Yeah,
sure.
so that'll really help people out. It'll help me out too when my clan can't do certain things at certain times, because you
Or
can,
if you just need like one or two more people, you can just do that in
yeah,
game.
much
Super nice.
faster. Yeah, so that'll be really nice,
So
especially.
way better solution than what are the matchmaking options called? Like guided games, which like I've never gotten
I
to work.
I never used it on purpose because I didn't want to even
I think I
bother with
tried it
that
once
shit.
and I was like in a waiting queue for like 10 minutes and I was just like, I don't fucking care
Yeah,
anymore.
this ain't
I'm
it,
just gonna do
chief.
something else.
Yeah, no. And then finally, we got Season of Plunder, which is our new season, which is fucking pirates, and it's got a couple different activities in it. One is like catch crash. Is it catch crash? Right?
Catch Crash. And then like I don't know if it's called plunder, but like you go and dig up a bunch of like engrams and bury literally buried treasure.
Yeah. The
And then the
first,
last one is like you assault like
the
a
captain, the
captain or
pirate
whatever.
captain, yeah, which could be Cabal or Fallen, which is really cool.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm loving the names of the different
I.
pirate server. Yeah, like there's II and
It's
there's a servitor called
AYE and then I.
yeah, and there's a servitor called like Scurvy, and I'm just like, oh my god, I fucking love it.
Dude, it's so fucking good. It's
uh,
they're really having. I'm glad they give us something fun like this, because they straight up. So this is starting off. You know, we're not gonna say too much just because, you know, we'll have a whole episode once the season wraps up and stuff. But it's great that you have the spider, you have the drifter, Ido, and Mithrax.
dude, I love Ido.
Is it? Wait, how do you pronounce Mithrax's name again? This is
uh, the
Mithrax.
the fallen or the Elixni call him Misrax, like with an
Mithrax.
S.
Okay, so with the
I love
th
they
is the
straight up
wrong
call that
way.
out where it's like that you let them call you Mithrax
Yeah,
and
because I want to.
Ido's Ido's like, but yeah, well, okay, it's something humans have a hard time just pronouncing his name. It whatever.
Story of my life.
uh,
That's why I'm like, I want to make sure I say Mithrax's name right. Like, I don't want to be like Mithrax. But yeah, we have all of them, and Ido, you know, is Mithrax's daughter. I'm probably gonna still keep saying his fucking name wrong. It sounds so weird
yeah,
without having like a special letter in there, and it just really is weird. But uh, it's cool that they're basically fighting Aramis, who's like come back to life. And even though Aramis is like, I'm back, you know, the Vanguard is basically like, we're busy.
yeah,
She's no longer a big threat. We got to do some other shit now.
yeah. We killed her before. It's okay. No
Yeah,
worries. We'll get
we
her.
have to
We'll
deal
get her
with
some other
Callus
time.
and fucking like Witness coming. They're basically they really are just like, we have to all that matters now is the Witness. Nothing else matters
Yeah,
at this point. So we're going after with this crew, and I'm like, oh, cool. So this is very Elixir themed, like heavily. Where Drifter
dude.
is like the only human we're really working with.
I love the catch that you get has like sails on it, and there's
Oh,
no
it's
reason for a
fantastic.
spaceship to have sails on it unless it's like a solar sail. But
Yeah,
like, but just like they just leaned way into the pirate theme, and I'm just like,
it's so good.
I love it.
There's
I
even
actually
like
really like
pirate
it.
music. It is so just. I think taking the break I took for 10 weeks in the season of the Haunted is really what I needed, because then like I'm like, oh my god, this is so depressing. It's not even so depressing, it's just redundant. It's such a redundant like set of activities in there. And then you get to Plunder, and energy level goes like fucking skyrocketing, because now I'm like, oh, this is
It's
like
super
really
fun.
fucking fun. I like this. And Catch Crash is like 6 players. It's really cool the way they have like catch versus catch fucking ship fighting. You're boarding other ships and doing all this shit. Like I said, we'll go into full detail on this stuff, like that episode we actually cover it, but it's really cool that they do that, and you have to like go through the other play like other fallen ship and like basically destroy it. Then yeah, the plunder activity, which is 3 players, and you're digging up stuff, and it's very much akin to Witch Queen's. Uh, you're on that little like pyramid surfboard thing that you have to be on it or be in proximity of it to make it move, and it's like the same thing here. Uh, and yeah, like James said, you use the engrams like to keep powering it up and go through and you find the treasure. And the cool thing is like you're working with uh the spider's men are more or less now your men. And you're splitting
Yeah.
booty with them. Like you literally dig up multiple chests and only one chest is for you and the other chests are for different crewmates. So it's kind of cool where you're like, yeah, we got to split the bounty and stuff. And I really like that as well. And I think so far,
I also like that, like each season's not artifact, but like the war table thing that you interact with, like you're upgrading them throughout each season, and it's usually like upgrading whatever that item is.
yeah,
But in this season, you're hiring new people.
yeah. So it's going to be really cool kind of seeing how that works throughout the season. And like you can get the little relics and Ida will tell you about them a bit, which is really interesting. And then
Yeah.
what is very, if you noticed, like, you know, with Season of the Haunted, we have Cabal in one wing of the helm. And this stuff is in the center. It's not even in a wing of the helm. It's just in the main portion of the helm, which means next season is where we're going to unlock the second
Yeah.
wing. And I'm very curious as to who it's going to be. I'm thinking it's going to
I
be
also
the
find it funny the
Hive.
egregore stuff.
I think it'll be the
Could
Hive.
it?
I think it's going to be Savathun in the other branch. Maybe.
That'd be
Preparing
interesting.
because it's the final season before Lightfall.
Dude, that would actually be
And
really
we need
cool
all
if
the
we
allies we can
actually.
get.
Can you imagine the scene where like the Vanguard actually debates whether or not to like let Savathun get rezzed, because they're like, okay, we're gonna need all hands on deck to deal with this, like
It's either going to be
with the witness.
I think it's either going to be knights. You know how you have like the two massive like colossi or whatever in there, or like the the big colossus in there. I think in this one it'll either be knights or it'll be like lucent brood that are going to be in the other branch.
I could see
But
that.
yeah, that's all we'll say for this stuff. But mainly we wanted to talk about Lightfall and whatnot, and the start of season of plunder. Because usually it's season of the, and now it's like season of plunder. I don't think it's season of the plunder because that sounds fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Destiny. Whew. Moving on to
I love that.
also there's a
I
collector's
love
edition.
that scene where,
Have you seen it?
yeah.
With the fucking isn't that the Stranger's Ghost thing?
I'm not
Fish?
sure it's a ghost.
It's like a fish.
So that's the thing. Like,
Space
we
fish.
literally have not seen it since that one cutscene, and it never even showed up in anything else in Beyond Light.
Yep.
So I'm guessing that means she got that thing from Neptune, and that she's been to Neptune before.
Oh, you're smart. You're a clever boy. You're a clever boy. Yeah, that
even
actually
like
that makes a lot of sense.
even now that you like look at it, it even looks like something that might be
It
from
resembles
Neptune.
a lot of that shit now. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
very much correct there. I pre-ordered the
I
collector's edition though. I already got it.
Oh yeah.
I immediately. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, capture for me, please. Thank you. I would like fish. I would like floating fish robot. Thank you. Yeah.
I love the scene where the Ida is trying to describe like all the different like scum of the Elixni that are going to join Eris now, or Aramis, and she's like, oh, what would be the name that like the humans would use for these like rabble? And Drifter just leans in, he's like, pirates. And I'm just like, oh my god, he's like so excited.
And then Guardian's just like, oh
Yeah.
oh my god. And well, actually, now we're Captain Guardian, so because we're the captain of the ship. I love that. It's just like, oh, I'm the captain. I am the captain. You go to Spider, you're like, I am the captain now. Like that's pretty much what happened. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Dude, I love when you find Spider and he's just like
In the
stuck in a cage. He's like, get me out of here.
Help. I need to get out of this. Yeah. All right. That's Destiny 2
They're
stuff.
stealing my shit, Guardian. Go kill them.
More or less, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it. So Gamescom. Going on right now still, I believe, at this moment in Germany, because it's a completely different time right now.
Yeah, it's like a
there.
week-long thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Like I said, we're not covering everything from this week, just the opening night live, which was done by Jeff Keighley. So he was like, that's his 3 big things, I guess, this year, right? It started with Summer Game Fest, and then he was like opening night live, and then he basically announced the date for the Game Awards after that.
Yeah.
Which turns out the Game Awards will also have an IMAX viewing. And I was like, oh.
Cool.
Yeah. maybe around 2, and hopefully it doesn't fucking freeze this time or whatever.
Yeah,
That was
that sucked.
fucking funny. Uh, yeah. So opening that live was like 2 hours long. It wasn't actually 2 hours long because you're accounting for ads. There's like ads just like there was at the Game Awards.
Honestly, it's like I watched a live stream where a re-upload from GameSpot, and there didn't seem to be that many straight up like ads in my the video that I watched. Maybe they cut them all out. I don't
I
know.
think they may have cut them out, but also a lot of them were still game. You think it's like gameplay or like they're showing a game. It was just an ad, so that might have confused. I mean, that's why some people wouldn't have
Weird.
noticed, but I noticed because it'd be certain games where I'm like, this just came out, or this is something they already showed, and now they're just showing like a different, like a shorter version that's like a commercial version of video.
Okay, maybe I just assumed they were all just like trailers,
That's how that's
which
I
they
think
kind
that's
of
what
are,
they're
but
trying to
like,
learn from it, so they don't bore people with it too much. That way they can make it feel like it's part of the show. And then
okay.
I knew they were ads because then they'd be followed up by Red Bull, and I was like, it was all ads the whole
Yeah, I
time.
was like doing like desk work stuff at home while I was watching this, so maybe that's why I was like not paying full attention and just like somehow didn't notice the ads.
Understandable. So what we're gonna do here is 2 minutes per game we want to talk about. We're not talking about every game on the list here from ONL. Instead, it's pretty much gonna be I'll name the game, and we'll see if we want to talk about it. If not, we skip ahead to the next thing. If so, 2 minutes, like I said. Uh, First game, Everywhere, which told us absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it
Except
was
it's
so
coming
weird.
2033. They're like, oh, it's everywhere. And I'm like,
Just
okay, this
like
is getting us nowhere.
like I couldn't tell if it was like a crowdsourced game type thing where kind of like the Tomorrow Children where like the players build the world, but they didn't really tell us much other than you can do anything.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, that's great. What is
Uh,
it? What is it? And then, yeah, there was
what is
nothing.
this? The Oasis from
Yeah.
Ready Player One?
All right. Don't ever say that again. Next up, Dune Awakening, which is a survival open world MMO. I'm not a Dune
Oh,
guy, really.
weird. I
So
could have sworn they described it as an open world RPG. So when Chris was describing it as a survival game, I was like, that doesn't sound like something I'd want to play.
yeah, and it's an MMO, so it's like I'm
Eh.
good as a Destiny player and still trying to eventually play Final Fantasy 14 and maybe Elder Scrolls Online. I'm good. I don't
Yeah,
need another
it's
one.
unfortunate because like when I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh wow, Chris will be super excited because he loves Dune, and he said he watched the an interview where they talked about like the actual gameplay, and he was just like, none of this sounds like what I want to play.
No, thank you.
Nah.
Uh, Hogwarts Legacy. So this one they emphasized the dark arts in this one,
Mm-hmm.
where you're going to be using a lot of the
What have you two done?
what was it called? Is it the forbidden curses or
The
the
unforgivable curses.
unforgivable curses? That's what it was. And I guess this is showing that this game will have kind of choices to see, and maybe you have to choose between certain party members of your group. Because one will be maybe more like, yeah, we got to do the fucked up shit with the unforgivable curses, and the other's going to be like, no, it's bad, and then you have to choose between them or
Hmm.
something like that. I think that's kind of where they're going with it, but
Maybe.
also they're showing you like, hey, there's consequences to your actions, kind of like Infamous, where the unforgivable stuff might be easier to do, but it's bad, whereas it's harder to do the good
Yeah,
thing, to do the right thing. I think they're going to do that kind of thing with
that's
it.
a good point. Like, yeah, if you could just learn Avada Kedavra and just like kill everyone in one hit, but then you're evil. Or you want to like actually duel everyone and like not kill anyone.
Then was Tales from the Border. What is it called? The new Tales from the Borderlands, which
Yeah,
Randy Pitchford came on the stage for, which I
yeah.
haven't seen him in a long time, and
I
it
was
felt
like, get
weird.
Randy Pitchford off the
Yeah, I was
stage.
like, why is
Fuck
Randy
this
Pitchford on the
guy.
fucking stage? I don't really have anything just because I still have to play the first
Yeah,
one.
I got mixed feelings about this because on the one hand, I like absolutely loved the first Tales from the Borderlands. So I would love there to be more. But what's weird is that they don't seem to be progressing the story of the previous game
Nope.
with Fiona and Reese. It's all new characters, which I'm okay with. Like as long as they're interesting and well written characters, I'm fine with that. And I think they mentioned that they even like rehired some of the people that worked on the Telltale game as writers. So
Yeah.
if that's true, then I have some confidence in it. It's just I wish that they had like decided to go forward with like, because they left Reese and Fiona's story on like a cliffhanger.
Well,
So
I think they address stuff in Borderlands. They're in Borderlands 3.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, I guess I
Reese
gotta
is
play
like
that then.
because I remember playing it before I sold the game and never finished it because I didn't care. But
Mm,
yeah, it happened. Um the Reese, that the dude that's in it is like in charge of one of the gun corporations that makes all the guns.
interesting.
And
Okay.
his right hand guy is Zero from Borderlands 2.
Oh, that's all funny.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, that's all right. And then I think that's actually as far as I got in the game, and then I sold it. So
Yeah.
because I was like, wait a minute, I don't like Borderlands games. What am I doing? I don't really know if I'll play this one. I think I'll probably just be playing the original Tales from the Borderlands, just because I heard it's very much standalone anyway, and you can kind of
Yeah, it is.
one and done with it. And that was made by Telltale. This one is like made by one of the Gearbox studios. Not that there's multiple, so I forget
Yeah.
which one they said was working on this. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Just because like I guess everyone's dividing up now. Like there's different studios doing different Telltale style games because they're continuing where they left off. Like
Yeah.
Skybound was finishing up Walking Dead. Now this is doing Borderlands.
Someone's even continuing the Wolf
Well,
Among Us.
that's actually the revitalized Telltale
That's what I
is
thought.
doing Wolf
Yeah.
Among Us. I think they're the ones that might still be able to do like certain WB stuff, because I think that's the only like group that was like, yeah, you could keep doing our shit.
You think I'll get Game of Thrones season 2?
Oh fuck, dude,
I
we never.
wasn't even that interested in that one either.
But I still want to know what happened. It was such a just like it's done. You're like,
But
what
what
the
does
fuck?
happen to the Ironwood Forest?
Oh yeah, that's yeah. So there's
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess like to cut it there, like I don't want to say I'm necessarily excited for it yet, even though I loved the first one. But I am at least interested.
Yeah. Word song. So this is from
Is it
a,
word song or weird song? I guess word song makes
I
better.
think
It
word
makes more sense.
song. This all right, so this is the game from like okay, all this shit's out of order. Sorry, the list I got everything from is completely out of order, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Uh this is from a group of devs that's Bethesda Game Studios, Obsidian, BioWare, and I think they might have said one more studio. But it's all these different RPG studio devs that are now together to make this one game. It looked interesting. It was like, what was it like? Which kind of feeling a little bit?
Yeah, this is one of the ones towards the end of the show, so I vaguely remember it, but I'm like trying to rewatch like that part of the show.
Yeah, sorry. I thought this was going to be in
And
order, and then this fucking
no
game
worries. It's
tricked
just like
me.
I don't remember this one super well.
Yeah. I'm reading everything off of the Polygon list right now. I watched everything on the actual
Yeah,
ONL, but
from
yeah.
Something Wicked Games.
I think they just put stuff in. I don't know who the fuck was doing this list, but they could have done better. Whatever. Uh I didn't really, it's one of those trailers that don't tell you anything. It's just an announcement trailer. It showed no gameplay. It was
Oh
just like
yeah,
cinematic shit.
this is the one where it's like there's like two lives, like one in the sun and one in like the shadow, and it's like yeah, it's like I
Okay.
don't know. The aesthetic looks interesting, but yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, they don't really tell you enough. They definitely didn't tell me enough to like get me interested.
It's like the interesting part is the game devs who are working on it with
Yeah,
their studio
exactly. That's why they
backgrounds.
led with that.
But besides that, it's like the concept is currently uninteresting to me because they didn't tell you any, like it's just like everywhere. I'm like, these aren't, we're supposed to be hyped about nothing. They're announcing
Yeah,
nothing and trying to tell us it's going to be exciting.
like
And that doesn't work anymore at this point in time, I don't think.
yeah,
In
I
an
think
era
like
where we want gameplay, this does not work.
yeah, I think like the most I got from the trailer was maybe I'm looking too much into it, but it seems like they were going for like a Souls game type
I
feel,
guess.
but it's just a trailer and it doesn't even look like in engine. It
No,
literally was like
none of
an
it was
art.
an engine.
No, it was like an artwork trailer, which like
Yeah.
again looks cool, but that doesn't
That
tell
is
me
the game.
anything.
Art, James. Art.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that, I guess.
Maybe. I don't know. It's like,
Depends
what
on the
does this
game.
piece make you think of? Nothing. Excellent. Moving along.
Yeah.
Uh I can't believe I'm saying this one next because it was just the next one here. I was gonna save this for last, but whatever. Dead Island 2.
Yeah, that was literally the
Finally
last thing they
fucking
showed.
announced, brought back from the fucking dead from whence it came, and
Ironic.
completely different feeling from the one trailer we got before. But that's also because they
I
said,
mean,
"Oh, there's like 6 characters you're gonna be playing as,
yeah,
or
which
that you
like
can choose from, I guess."
the first game kind of had that where there were like 4 different like you didn't make your own character, you just chose from one of 4.
Yeah,
I think it was 4.
yeah, it was like 4, and then they I think may have added 1 or 2 in the Riptide thing.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, I never cared to finish that shit, but I guess I could try again
Yeah,
with this one
that's another one of
because
those games that like Chris really liked it, and I wanted to like it, but there were so many bugs I kept running into, and just like there was one time where I spent a lot of resources to make like a really cool like sword or whatever, and I built a character that could like uh or at least I leveled up a character to do, or I was using a character that had a bonus to throwing weapons, and I like threw my like super awesome sword at a zombie, hit it in the face, killed it in one hit, and then it fell forward into the ground, and the sword was like in the ground, and I couldn't retrieve it, and I was just like, "Fuck this game! Why?"
now was that on PS3?
That was like, yeah, that was way back on the
Holy
PS3. I'm pretty
shit!
sure.
Yeah, so this game, I mean, they didn't really. Did they actually even show game? It was still just cinematic, right?
Yeah.
More or less. I think they did show some. Was there some gameplay? I can't remember.
They
Sorry, there's
did
been
at
a
the
lot this
very
week.
end showed
Yeah.
like 2 seconds of like in-engine stuff, but I don't remember it being like gamey.
Okay.
I
So
don't know.
this game, funny enough, is one of those things where it's interesting because it's taken forever for it to just become a thing.
Yeah, that it didn't get
And
canceled.
yeah, otherwise, really, like if it had come out, I don't think it would have been as exciting as it is now, where you're like had been waiting on it. Ironically, like it's such a weird thing how that works, but it does.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm
the same
still
thing that
not
happened
sure.
to Duke Nukem Forever, where it's just
Yeah,
like
and
it had been in development for 10 years, so people were just like, now I just gotta see
I
what took
bought
so
it, I played
long.
it, I beat it, and I was like, this is shit. And then I was
This is
like-
as shit as the shit that you could play with in this shit game.
yeah, it was fucking stupid. Holy shit.
Uh,
Uh, the uh, the concept for this though is somewhat interesting, but it's not enough that I want to play it. It's going to be one of those
yeah.
things. Kind of, I honestly think it's like kind of in that same area as Skull and Bones, the other game that had disappeared, where
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait and see really everything there is to see about it before I even consider really even being interested in it, to be honest.
Yeah. I
Just
think
because
same. Like it
there's
was
so
a
much
fun
other
trailer.
shit.
Yeah, it was a
Was
fun
that the other
trailer.
game that was that the other February game? Was that the
Was it? I don't know.
February game? February 3rd, 2023. That was the
That
other
was that
fucking
game.
game that they. Yes, we have fucking Dead Island 2, Hogwarts Legacy, Destiny 2, Lightfall, and God knows what else is going to come that way. Oh my god. Yeah.
So one thing that did weird me out about this trailer, though, as fun of a trailer as it was, and maybe they just did this for comedic effect, but dude, every time the main character punched a zombie or like hit it with his gun, it just like it's like he popped a water balloon. like
Yeah. It was kind of weird the way it
like I
worked.
get that these bodies would be like decaying and maybe softer than normal, but like bones don't go soggy. Like bones are still hard.
Yeah. I thought it was, I don't know, it was just so weird. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go get the batteries for the TV remote."
That
And
was
then
hilarious, yeah.
oh, someone got into the house, and it's like, how fucking sick what if you fall asleep and you just I don't get what the fuck.
It seems like he was like aware that he's slowly dying from like the zombie plague anyway, so he's just like, fuck it, whatever. I'll just party till I die.
Yeah. God, what a great outlook, right?
Eh,
He's waving to other people as he's like leaving again. They're just like, "Yeah, we live in the house next door, I guess." Then Callisto Protocol. The cool thing about this was the 2 things they showed. One was the way he dies
yeah,
with
they
the
always in every trailer for this game they have to show another gruesome way he dies, where
yeah,
like the main character can die, which was like that was the thing in Dead Space too, but like they're really going into it for this one.
yeah. It was interesting the way they pulled that off too. Where what was it? He gets like cut in half. Was that
Yeah,
what it
he's like
was?
sliding down a giant like maintenance shaft, it seems like, and yeah, he like I guess bumped into one of the like fans or whatever, and I guess that's like a kill thing, and it just like hit he basically got like pinned against the wall by the fan until it just like sliced him in half.
Yeah. And this is something I feel like we've seen in what, like Tomb Raider, where Laura's sliding down something, but she has to, or like other certain games where you're
Yeah.
sliding down, you're avoiding these obstacles as you're going down, but it's not something
Oh
you'd
yeah.
think would be
It's been a
in
thing for a while.
it's not something that you'd think would be in this or like a Dead Space type game like this. And in this one, they're like, hey, we want to make sure it feels like it's like every area has some form of danger, even if it's not a living enemy. That you could just go down a fucking shaft that you're like, yeah, it's a shaft, and I might have to face one at the bottom. And it's like, oh, no, no, no. Just going down might fucking kill you. You have to watch out just going down the shaft now. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be very just don't die the game, really. And then they show the enemies. Some of them can evolve as you're fucking fighting them. Where, what was that
Yeah.
one zombie got armored up or something?
Well, and there
Or he
was like a
just like evolved a
spitter
bit.
one that seemed to like not have a head anymore, which was weird.
Yeah, it was just the way it transformed. I couldn't describe it the best, but just how they showed it, I was like, oh, that was very quick how that thing
Yeah.
evolved. Okay.
It's kind of
Uh,
unfortunate though that like when I get that they're trying to market the shit out of this game because it's coming out soon, but
December.
I'm one of those people where I'm like, you had me at it's basically Dead Space,
I
so
mean, now they're just
I don't need to see any more trailers. You keep showing it at what feels like every show that happens right
I
now.
I get it though. They want to market it as much as possible. They want it to
Yeah.
be in your head as much as possible, knowing, hey, this is coming in the holiday. Not only is it coming in the holiday, it's literally coming in December, which isn't honestly one of the best sales months. Usually the biggest games come out September through November, primarily like that, like late
Yeah.
October, early November area is like the sweet spot normally. So the
Maybe the only other better time for it would have been October, but just because it's a horror game.
and November is heavily occupied by a single game that you cannot fucking rival, which is honestly like because not many games this year have
That
come
War
out.
God game?
Yeah, yeah, War God game. Yeah, can see. It's funny. Those are the two last anticipated games I have coming out this year because Hogwarts got delayed, Avatar got delayed. I only got Horizon so far, and the other two is God of War and Callisto. So uh, pretty much back to back. I'm going to be having a great time with those two, honestly. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see it more throughout
Yeah.
the next couple months leading up to its release because, like I said, they'll give us tidbits. That's what I'm liking about this is they're not giving you that much. They're giving you very small pieces that are just telling you one new thing about the game without giving it really anything away at the same time. So I do appreciate the way they're pulling that off. Genshin Impact stuff.
Eh.
Okay, cool. Honkai Star Rail. No, I mean,
I mean, the only thing that's interesting about that to me is that it's made by the same people that do Genshin Impact. And did they describe it as like a strategy RPG game or I don't
that's the
know?
thing. I wasn't interested, so I immediately turned my brain off for it.
Yeah. No, it's just interesting that like the Genshin Impact people were like not good enough to have one game that's for some reason insanely popular and we put it on every console, even the phone.
I mean, Epic
So we're gonna
bought.
do two.
Look at Epic. They were like, we have Fortnite. Let's buy Fall Guys.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, I forgot that they're both about the same. Friends versus Friends. So this one is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like I don't know about the art style, but like it's they intrigued me by I mean again the trailer was super fun of like just people murdering or animal people murdering each other in like super weird funny ways, but then like I kept getting intrigued by them pulling out like Uno cards or whatever and I'm just like what the fuck is
I
going
think
on?
it's the same thing as like Back for Blood, if anything,
It looks
or
like
could be like that.
it like I haven't played it yet, but Neon White that just came out is a first person action game sort of thing, but like all your abilities are cards that you spend. So it looks like it is or this game, Friends versus Friends, looks like a first person shooter multiplayer game, but you also start out with like a hand or something like that. And I guess those cards, I don't know if you get to like customize your deck or whatever, or if it's just like whatever the game gives you. But it's just having like playing cards on top of or collecting
For
cards with
potentially,
yourself.
I guess, your character's
Yeah.
abilities and like weapons and whatnot.
Yeah, so like that twist of having adding like a card mechanic on top of a first person, like a multiplayer first person shooter game is interesting, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
I think for a game like that too, I would appreciate the option to turn off cards as well.
I don't think that's a thing for this.
Oh, well,
No,
okay.
it looks like it's
Yeah.
like because it was so central in the trailer, it looked like that's like the major selling point of this game is like,
Okay.
or what makes it stand out from other
Assuming a lot of
multiplayer
games now
games.
going to be using like cards as their primary function for
Eh,
things.
I don't know about a lot.
I mean, not a
Like,
lot, but it's like it's seeming like it's the early start to something like that. Because you know how like there'll be some trend in a game, and then all of a sudden all of them start doing it until it's overplayed, and then everyone gets tired of it.
yeah,
Whether it's
I don't
everything
know.
from like World War II to fucking zombies, and then now it could be this. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm just saying.
Nah, I'm
No.
not getting that sense because, like,
Okay.
I mean, they're like the first card. Well, I shouldn't say first. I'm for whatever reason, like the card based game that I always think of that's like you wouldn't expect them to make a card based version is like the Metal Gear Acid games,
Oh,
and
that's
those are
true.
like way back on the PSP, and
That
that
is
that never
true.
took off.
Yeah, no, that did not. It's an acid type game, similar to a strand type game, but not. It's an acid type game. And this one does not have transferring in it either.
Yeah, those games weirded me out because they were like not only unconnected to the main series, but like Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2 weren't even connected to each other. So that was fucking
Yeah.
weird.
Next up, Gotham
Because I don't think
Knights.
they were.
We got to see a bunch of villains like Mr. Freeze, Harley Quinn,
Yeah.
Clayface, which is cool.
Clayface looks fucking weird to me.
Because he looks, yeah, he's very liquidy in this
Yeah,
one.
I think that's what it was he was like way more liquid than I was expecting.
And then
But
Harley's in it too, which was something. And
yeah.
because I couldn't, all right, we know Batman's dead and we know Gordon's dead. Is Joker dead? Was that the other, was Joker
I
dead too,
don't know.
maybe?
We can't say because like this game is not supposed to be related to the Arkham
Well, I
games,
know
the other Arkham
that,
games.
but that's I'm like one because I remember when they said like they were telling us like the concept of this game is these characters are dead and these characters have to basically take control of the city before all the villains like
Hmm.
destroy it all. That's why I can't remember if Joker was one of the other characters dead
Yeah,
too.
I
Because
I don't remember if they explicitly said that.
okay, because
It
for sure they said Bruce and Gordon though.
for
Were the
sure
two.
those two. Yeah.
Yeah. They show like also Renee Montoya as being more like the police
Yeah.
liaison
Well,
for them.
yeah, it sounds like she basically like stepped up after Gordon died.
Yeah, she'll be like the bat signal person at this point.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and the other thing was what was it? The release date was pushed forward like 4 days.
Yeah, that was weird.
They're like, "Oh, 4 days." I was like, okay, thanks, that's fine." I
Yeah.
think for sure I'm gonna buy it at this point. I've seen enough where I'm at least intrigued. If maybe not the gameplay per se, but at least the story enough as a
Yeah.
Batman fan that I want to know more specifically. I want to see Nightwing's story and also the Court of Owls, and I really want those to intersect, just like
Yeah.
they do in the comics, because that's one of the fucking coolest things when you find out Nightwing's connection to them.
Yeah.
But I think this game will have plenty to do with it. As long as it
Yeah.
doesn't make shit feel weird like Avengers, I think it'll be fine. But it's not a big multiplayer online game or anything else. It's like two people, so I think they could potentially pull it off well. I'd
Yeah.
actually, ironically enough, I'd be more worried about the Suicide Squad game than this game at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not been interested in Gotham Knights much since they announced it because like one of the fastest ways to turn me off of a game is to say it's like a full story game that like they designed to be played multiplayer.
Yeah,
Like
but
that
it's not
stuff
like
always
four
annoys
player at
me.
least. That's what would have
Yeah.
turned me off. It's just two people and it's optional. It's still you can play it fully single player.
Yeah. So and I really like the Court of Owls. I think it's like a really cool storyline in the New 52 and stuff, but like the fact that they also are going to also still have like a bunch of other villains and whatnot, like that makes me much more interested in playing the game because I was getting worried that it would be more focused on just play the multiplayer with your friends and stuff
Mm.
and investigate the Court of Owls or whatever. The fact that like I don't know, I guess it makes it feel so far more like the Gotham games where you're not just going after Joker or Ra's al Ghul in the second one. It's like literally it's just like a bunch of villains.
Yeah.
So
I think there's going to be more than just those ones too. I'm pretty sure they'll, as you play the game, they'll be like, "Oh, surprise!" and be like, "Oh shit!"
yeah.
Just like in the Arkham games, you didn't know all the ones that would pop up, and when you saw them, you were just kind of like, "Oh, damn! I
Yeah.
was not expecting that."
So at least this trailer did make me much more interested in picking up the game. I don't know if I'm gonna get it at launch, but like I'll wait for the reviews, I guess.
Okay, sounds good. And then I'll probably still get it at launch, I guess. That'll be my October game, if anything. But Where Winds Meet, nothing from me for that one.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Park Beyond, also nothing from me.
No.
Lies of P,
Yeah, this one's interesting. It's like a Souls game,
Pinocchio, the
very
Souls
loosely
game.
based on the Pinocchio storyline.
Yeah, and then you see Geppetto,
Okay.
and then the cricket, I think,
I
right?
I do love that the cricket is like, I guess,
And the lantern or
like
whatever.
yeah, like in almost every Souls game, your character has some sort of item on their hip to like contain the souls or blood echoes or like whatever they're collecting from enemies. And in this game, it seems like you just like have Geppetto on your
Yeah,
side, or not Geppetto,
Jiminy Cricket.
Jiminy Cricket. Like that's so funny.
It's also Pinocchio has like he looks like Edward Elric. He's got like the fucking alchemist arm, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
like,
other weird thing. Like he
"Bleh."
looks like a normal, like a mostly normal dude, but he could just like swap his arms out for robot shit.
He just looks like a fucking Final Fantasy character, if anything.
He really does. He's definitely
Yeah,
like a pretty boy.
I this game's gonna be on Game Pass, so I'm like, I'm
Okay,
guaranteed.
if
I'm
it's
more
on Game
guaranteed
Pass,
to
I'll give it a
play it.
shot.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's one of those like, oh, it's on Game Pass. Well, now I want to. I'm more
Like I was
intrigued, if
already
anything.
intrigued, but now I'm just like, oh, I already get it,
Yeah, I'm
basically.
secured. All right, I'll play it. I'll check it
Yeah.
out. It does look cool. It's just so weird, but I'm like, I'm in. It's interesting. I'm like, I want to see more about this game. It's
Yeah. Like I heard about it before I started watching the stream, and this was one of those trailers where like I had to stop working for a bit and just like watch it because I was like, this is a Pinocchio game? Like, what?
yeah. And then Phantom
Whoa, he's got
Hellcat.
different arms and shit.
Phantom Hellcat. Nothing for me on this one.
Yeah, no thanks.
Goat Simulator 3.
It was a
Chaos.
funny trailer.
Yeah, it was a funny trailer. I never played the first one. I still have to. I still want to check it out at least.
That's one of those games where it's like it's fun to watch a stream of it, but I very quickly get bored of those games that are just like do funny, wacky physics stuff just to
Yeah,
laugh at like weird shit happening. It's like it's one of those things where it's like it's fun for like 5 or 10 minutes, but any more than that, I'm like, man, I spent like $30 on this.
yeah. Return to Monkey Island, which I'm gonna be honest, I never play those games, but I want to play those games
Yeah,
because
I've been
I've heard
interested.
a lot of stuff about them. Plus, I'm more inclined to play it because they were made by Lucasfilm or LucasArts originally.
Really.
Yeah, they were LucasArts games. I'm pretty sure the
I
original
thought they
ones.
were not Double Fine, but whatever the Tim Schafer's studio was. I could
Tim
be wrong
Schafer
on that.
Studios Double Fine. Before he was at Double Fine, he was at LucasArts.
Oh, okay, then yeah.
Mhm. That's the thing. Double Fine is basically a lot of it was like former LucasArts people at the time. I
Okay.
think originally some of them were, or maybe just Tim Schafer. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think that's why I was like I thought it was a Double Fine game because I was pretty sure Tim Schafer was like one of the writers for
Yeah,
uh
and
like I just keep hearing over and over again that Tales from Monkey Island is like one of the funniest series you'll ever play. So that's why I want to play it.
yeah, I want to check it out. I think it's like a full on. It should all be still available on PC. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something I do want
For
to get back
sure.
to. And Lucasfilm, like LucasArts and Telltale and Double Fine are all local San Francisco. Well, Telltale I think is across the bridge, but like they're still local enough where it's like you kind of want to play them because they're your locally grown games. Just like 2K Marin was like BioShock 2, and I was like, oh, I gotta check that one out. It's local stuff. I gotta do it. Maybe not Call of Duty with Sledgehammer. Sorry, it's just that's a little. Foster City's pushing it. That's pretty far. It's not really bait like the others are, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Uh, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah,
So
I did not see this coming.
I'm pretty sure these are the guys that made Friday the 13th and Predator Hunting Grounds, and this is now their new like here's our new licensed game that we're making fucking crazy.
Yeah, like another asymmetrical like multiplayer versus game, which interesting that this one is leaning into like I guess there were three clowns specifically in the original movie. So like it's interesting that I think they said the numbers are like 3 versus 7,
Yeah,
but like yeah, I don't know anyone who's mentioned uh killer clowns from outer space in like the last 10 years at
I
least.
know. I mean, that's the thing. Everyone, you could kind of tell in the audience, just like when I was watching, I was like, I have not heard this in so long. I never watched this movie. Now I want to go watch this movie, but it also reminded me again. Oh, right. I really want to play Friday the. I should still play Friday the 13th and Predator because those I've heard so much fun stuff about them, and I'm sure this will probably, if it's the same guys doing it and they enjoy these licenses, I don't doubt this won't be at least very entertaining. High on Life. Was there really anything new about this? They just kind of showed some new stuff a little bit.
They showed a boss fight, but they also like I watched like a whole half-hour walkthrough of like a chunk of the game that ended in that boss fight that IGN put up. And dude, this game looks so funny.
It does. It looks fucking hilarious. And isn't that another Game Pass game too?
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
believe
sure.
so.
Yeah. So I'm pumped out to play this on Game Pass for PC. If it's
Yeah.
hopefully on Game Pass for PC. Actually, not think about that. Hopefully, because I don't want to play my Xbox One S. Everything's too slow on there now. Moving out to I know what the fuck was I was I don't know what the fuck this is.
Yeah, that's another one of those party games. It's like fun if you got couch co-op people to play with, but other
Yeah.
than that, eh.
The Lords of the Fallen.
That looks so cool, dude.
Oh, you like this one?
Yeah, well, I mean, like,
Wait, was this the one where the dude dies and comes back again?
mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah,
It's
okay,
a
that
Souls
was the
game, and I think it's like I guess a sequel to Lord of the Fallen, or there's like a previous one. It's just it's weirding me out that this one's just called Lords of the Fallen. Uh, but yeah, this was another one of those things where like they didn't show gameplay, but like the trailer sold me on the aesthetic of the
okay.
of this game. Like it sounds so cool, or it looks cool anyway.
Stranded, Alien Dawn. This one actually seemed kind of cool. It was like you're building up your little
Yeah,
civilization, but it's not like it wasn't top down, right? It was pretty much like an actual like game where you're not a would it be a simulator or would it be like some other type of
I
game?
wanted to say it was like a survival game
Okay.
because there's a lot of like building up settlements and stuff to survive longer in that too. But
But
I don't know.
that one actually didn't like catch my interest there. I was like, oh, this looks cool if especially if you're playing with other people too. You can kind
Yeah.
of work together and build shit with that. I always want to do one of those games. It's one of those things where I'm just like, I'm just playing a fucking ton of Hunt, now Destiny again. And I'm like, when will I have the time to do this other type of
Yeah.
multiplayer oriented thing? But still,
Like I wanted to get into Ark a while ago and I just like never did.
dude, I'm excited for the next one because it's a fresh start. You could just jump into that one instead, and it's got Vin Diesel on a
Yeah.
T-Rex. So
You can
I'm
be friends with
pretty.
Vin Diesel.
I yeah, I just want to fucking play with Vin Diesel, dude. It's gonna be
Yo, I
great.
hope he's part of our family.
Yeah, build your family.
Ugh.
Under the Waves, which was this a sequel to Subnautica? Was that what they were saying, or was this something else
Ah,
completely different? I already forgot, to be honest.
that's a good question. I know at some point they did show a game from the developers
No,
of
it's from Quantic Dreams. That's what it was.
oh, this is a Quantic Dream game.
Yes. So automatically kind of interested
Interesting.
because I've enjoyed their stuff
Yeah.
so far.
No, this was another one of those ones where it's just like the trailer looked really cool and like I just like the tone of the narrator talking about how like he's like the only voices you hear in the deep come from below, and it seemed creepy but also peaceful, where it's just
Yeah.
like whoever this person is, it seems like they're living or exploring the bottom of the ocean just because they like want solitude, but we'll see more.
I always want underwater themed things, so I'm Quantic Dream plus underwater, I'm in.
Yeah.
Uh I think it'll probably be like a small team potentially working on this compared to the bigger team that's working on Star Wars Eclipse because it's Star Wars Eclipse,
Yeah, forgot
whatever
about
the fuck
that.
that is, after seeing that insane trailer where you're like so who knows. Sonic Frontiers. I don't want to say anything about this, but I know you will.
I don't know. I actually don't have anything to talk about
Really?
this one.
Oh shit. Okay,
No,
cool. Thanks.
I haven't really been into Sonic games for a while because like they are very hit or miss. So
Okay.
I don't know.
The
And the
last thing I heard
idea,
you talk about was on GameCube, I guess.
I mean, I played like Generations or one of the ones that like was a one when they went back to like side scrolling and it was like better. But like the idea of an open world Sonic sounds interesting, but it looks weird, and I've heard a lot of complaints from people that have played like the previews so far. So it's another one of those things where like I'll wait for the reviews, and if it just miraculously like the reviews say it's like actually fun to play, then I might pick it up. But other than that, I'll probably pass.
Okay. You guys gotta understand, like, I'd go to this guy's house when we were kids and be like, let me show you my Chow Garden on GameCube. And I'm like,
Dude,
wow.
Sonic Adventure Battle 2 was fucking great. And I
Atlas.
did spend way too much time building up those chows. That was like
I
a
remember that shit. You'd be
weirdly,
like, you could also be Shadow and have your Dark Shadow. And you're like,
yeah,
I'm
dude.
just like, what the
I spent so much
I know
time
you
on
did.
that.
It's just like, oh, and my mom plays Animal Crossing. I'm just like, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah, dude, that
Why are you having
surprised
so
me
many
that like,
GameCubes?
yeah,
Uh,
like that
at,
she actually got so hooked on Animal Crossing is insane.
I know that shit's
But
funny.
honestly believable because that game is like easy and relaxing.
I'm missing one bug and one fish in New Horizons, and it's pissing me off. I have till the end of
Man.
this. I got. I have like 5 days to find the stupid scarab beetle before I have to wait another year. Oh my god. Atlas Fallen. Uh,
This one looked
uh,
interesting, I
uh,
guess. I like
uh,
the sand physics, but
oh
other than
yeah.
that,
Oh wait, it's that game. I keep
yeah,
that
like
one actually did look kind of cool to be. Yeah, actually. Now
I was
remembering
intrigued
it.
by like the dude using his sand powers or whatever to rebuild the bridge. But other than that, like again, they don't tell you much. It's not a gameplay trailer. It's just all you can get is like tone and maybe some ideas of like the setting.
Yeah.
And it seems to be set in like some ruined worlds where it's like mostly sand and I mean it looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, more or less.
Oh, we know they
Um,
did show some gameplay, which was like I was like, oh wow, when you're like skating through the sand, it actually looks really cool.
then yeah, actually. And it's just another 2023 game. We don't really know anything else about it at that
Mm.
point.
Uh,
The LS Trials, which I didn't know that that was Outlast the entire time until the title came out at the end, and I was like, "Oh,
well, they mentioned it
right.
like going into it. It's like remember the Outlast trials, and I was like,
No.
no.
Well, they're here." You're like, "Oh,
uh,
okay."
uh, I think this one is just like,
I still have to play the first one
yeah,
and then the second one.
I started playing the first one. I got so freaked out that I was
Wasn't
just
that
like, I'll
a
get to this later.
I'll try. I still want to play it, and that was a PlayStation Plus game, right? Like, I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure I have it
Yeah,
on. Yeah, okay,
pretty
cool.
sure.
Yeah, so my interest in this one probably won't, even when I play the first two, I probably still won't be interested in this because I don't care about another multiplayer game, like you said.
Yeah, it seems like this one basically is like going into what the research facility was doing that
Hmm.
caused the shit that happened at the insane asylum.
So it's like multiplayer with story,
Wait,
but
it's multiplayer?
you didn't
What?
see that? Yeah,
I
it
did not
was.
pick that up.
And for the first time, it's multiplayer. A closed beta period is scheduled for this year.
Okay, that's super weird.
Yeah, yeah. Next up, Moonbreaker. No thanks, not for me.
Uh, yeah, that was another one where it's like the art style looks really interesting, but they just didn't grab me.
Homeworld
Story wise,
3.
anyway.
Still,
Homeworld 3, like I literally just bought the Homeworld series like 1 and 2 and like
why?
the because I'm interested and it was like
Okay.
$5 on Steam. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll give it a shot."
Speaking of Telltale, Expanse, a Telltale series, which I'm like, I still have to
Very
watch.
excited.
I don't personally care yet because I haven't watched The Expanse, and I've had one dude hounding one of my guys that in my Destiny clan has been hounding me forever now, for honestly, literally months, telling me I need to watch this show, and he says it's
It's
right up my
literally
alley.
it's literally one of the best sci-fi shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, he literally says he's like, you will love this. You will love this show. This like knowing you, and I'm like, oh, I guess you do know me enough that you're recommending
Yeah.
this to me nonstop. But yeah, so that's coming in 2023. So I think Wolf Among Us season 2 comes first, and then this is coming after. And then we'll hear about Game of Thrones season 2. Oh boy, probably not, but maybe. Um, maybe a Batman. Did they wrap up Batman, or is there still more they can do with Batman? I haven't played either of those either, to be
Honestly,
honest.
I did not finish that season of Batman, so I
Okay.
couldn't tell you how they ended it, but like I got the impression that it was like a one-off story, but
Okay.
I could be very wrong on that.
I realized actually I still have to play like a lot of the Telltale. I've only played Walking Dead seasons 1 and 2 plus that 400 days thing, and then Game of Thrones. So I actually still have Guardians, both seasons of Batman, Wolf Among Us, Telltale. I mean, not Tales from Borderlands, and am I missing anything? Or yeah, Walking Dead season 3 and 4. So it's
Oh
like
my
what,
god, they
seven
went up to
fucking,
4 seasons.
yeah. So I
Jesus.
have like 7 fucking Telltale games to play, and I'm imagining each one will take like 6 hours. I'm assuming so. I'll get through that eventually. I don't even know what platform I'm going to play this on. So, woof. Because I was interested, I just never got around to it. I know for sure I at least have the Telltale Borderlands game because it's on PlayStation Plus, so I have that at least, and maybe one of the Batman ones. I'm not sure. Dwarf Romantic, the
What?
Switch. It's a strategy game on the Switch. Next
uh
up, Scars
yeah.
Above. I didn't really get this one. It was the live. It had like a trailer that looked very cinematic. Um,
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Dual Sense. Okay, here we go. So
Yeah.
we're at the last 3 here. So the Dual Sense Edge, which is the new PlayStation controller, that's basically the Xbox Elite controller. I gotta stop saying basically. Uh, it's fully customizable. It sounds like in terms of like, you know, joysticks to
Like
triggers and
it
everything
yeah, it
else.
has a couple back panels or paddles. My only complaint compared to the Series X Elite controller or the Xbox Elite controller is just that like that one you can have up to 4 paddles,
Yeah,
but I did I don't know how often you'll actually need like 4 extra buttons. But
I usually
it would
don't,
be
to be
nice to have that
honest.
option.
Yeah, I
But I
keep my
do
Elite controller pretty bare bones, if I'm going to be completely honest. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I do
honestly don't use
really
a lot of the
like
extra shit.
I think one of my favorite things about the Edge controller though is just like you can not just like change the sticks of the controller, you can completely remove the joystick like housing or whatever. So if it like starts to drift or just breaks or whatever, you could just replace that one part,
Yeah, that's
which is super
honestly
nice.
such a good thing, especially because my white controller actually got drift. It started drifting.
Damn.
It forced me to open. That's why I did that unboxing video of the Cosmic Red controller, because it forced me to finally
Oh,
open
that's how
that
you did
controller.
that.
Yeah, I was like, oh well, it's a good thing I bought this, and now it's an
Yeah,
even better thing. The only thing I really hope that they do is give you kind of like the PlayStation 5. You can buy different colored plates.
that'd
If
be
they do
really
that for the
nice.
controller, because that would change a lot. Because that's the biggest thing where the Elite controller is cool for the Xbox, but you're kind of stuck with white or black
Yeah.
and nothing
Or if you
else.
were lucky, the Master Chief colored one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're lucky, honestly. I would have loved
Yeah.
to have that one personally, but that fucking thing sold out stupidly. I remember being in there. Even when I worked at Microsoft, I was like, I can't even fucking buy this.
But
That
yeah, I'm like so excited for more info on this controller because like I've been wanting a PlayStation Elite controller for a while because I'm just like, damn man, the Xbox Elite. I don't even have an Elite controller, but I'm just like, if it wasn't so friggin' expensive, I'd probably get one. And if I didn't play my PlayStation more than my Xbox, I'd probably do that.
I pretty much anytime I play like certain games on PC, I'll break out the Elite controller, and really anything that's Xbox oriented that I now just play on PC, I break out the Elite
You
controller.
know, the fact that I play so much on my PC now, it might actually be worth it to splurge on like a really nice controller just for that.
Honestly, the best thing you can probably do is get an Elite controller. Like the Xbox
Really.
Elite controller is it's my favorite thing to play on PC because it also comes with the cable already. You just plug that in, boom, you're set. And
Oh,
it's
that was another thing
the
they
thing
mentioned.
too. It's already charging. It's like permanently
Oh,
charging because it's already
it
plugged into the PC.
But does it have like rechargeable batteries in the controller already,
Yeah,
or do you
so the case. I'm basically all right. I'm sorry, guys.
wait? The case also charges it?
So I'm gonna get back into my old Microsoft gaming expert. I used to work there. Just heads up. So I'm not trying to fucking advertise the shit. I don't even work there anymore. But so like the Xbox controller, it comes in this little bag, a little case, and you open it, and you get the little cable. You can plug this in. It's USB and USB-C. Plug it into the Xbox and plug it into your PC. It'll charge it while you're playing, so you don't even run out of battery for it. But it's got the customizable shit on it. It's heavy. It feels nice. Everything about it feels good. It's got grips on this portion here. So I'm like holding it to the side of the camera. But the case itself, right here. Sorry, it's like hella dark. This is where you would charge it. This actually charges the controller
Dude,
inside.
I had no
And
idea that the
yeah,
case actually charged it.
if you open it here, sorry, it's hard to see, but you can see the little port for the USB-C there, and then you plug it
Oh
in
man.
there. So the same cable, and you could do that. So you're just charging it without even have to take it out of the case. It's got all the fucking customizable shit right here. So boom, you're ready to go. It's
Yeah.
great, honestly.
So
Sorry about that. And like I said, I don't work there anymore.
No worries. So Sony did also already mention that the PlayStation Edge controller is going to have a case. Not, I don't know if it's exactly going to be like that, but I assume it's going to help at least like store the extra sticks and stuff that you want. It'd be nice if it also charges it, because that's like a really cool feature.
Yeah.
But they did mention specifically for the charging cable that plugs into the controller, it's got some sort of like locking mechanism on it, so that it's less likely if someone like or it's less likely to get like yanked out of your controller accidentally, like mid gaming session or whatever.
Okay. And then we got that, and then we got the Hideo Kojima
That was
podcast,
funny.
which out of everything we've seen in Gamescom, the thing I'm more guaranteed to buy than anything else is the PlayStation controller, which I think is going to be like $150
Yeah,
and well worth
probably.
it, I'm sure, honestly.
Like I still find it crazy that the Elite controller is like 180, and like when it first came out, it was like 250 or some shit like that, and I was like, what the fuck?
I didn't pay that much for it. Discounts.
Yeah. I think another reason why I haven't picked up the Elite controller yet is like I've been, since the Series X came out, I've been waiting for them to make a newer version, like with the share button and everything, but they haven't done that yet.
Oh, I see what you mean there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hideo Kojima's podcast. It's gonna have everything from like interviews with other like people in the industry. It's gonna be on Spotify exclusively, and
and they're gonna have an English and a Japanese version.
Which before it was, he has a podcast right now.
Does
and it? Yeah, but it's only in Japanese. Like that's what's been killing me, and I'm just like, I can't fucking understand anything, so I can't listen to it. So when he said this, I at first thought it was the same podcast, but it sounds like it's going to be different, and I am highly excited for this. This is ironically enough. So like I said, the PlayStation controller is the thing I was most guaranteed to buy. I kid you not, this was the most exciting thing to come out of Gamescom, was this fucking podcast announcement. One, because I enjoy podcasts a lot. Two, because I fucking love Hideo Kojima.
Dude, I'm such a huge Kojima fan. I might actually download Spotify just to listen to this podcast.
Guys. He clapped on screen for us.
That got me, where he was just like, I'm announcing my podcast coming exclusively to Spotify. Oh, and I was just like, I fucking love this guy.
This guy's great. It's so fucking good. Oh my god. Yeah, that man. You know what? Fuck this, guys. Hideo Kojima is the game of the year. That's it. That's what I'm going with this time. He's game of the year. That's what's up. Oh god, I love this man. Also, he was saying, I'm not going to show any games that I'm working on right now. Games, plural, guys.
That might have just been
like
an oversight.
No. He is working, because he's working on an Xbox game, and I think he's working on a PlayStation game, or
Death
PC.
Stranding 2.
I think he's working on 2 games. One is for PlayStation, one is for Xbox.
Maybe,
and I'm playing both of them. Basically. So
anything he's got his name on, I'll probably at least try out.
And last thing, do we need to talk about the Pokemon car? I don't want to talk about the Pokemon car.
I missed that entirely when I was like,
they were like, it's a Pokemon car, and I'm like, it was like a Mini Cooper, but they called it the Mini I think it was called Mini Concept. That's honestly what I think they called it.
Okay,
but it's like a
weird.
fucking weird Pokemon car. I didn't get it, and I was like, well, I don't want to drive a Mini Cooper, so I'm okay, thanks. And I don't want
I
to drive a
used to be
Tesla.
really into them when I was like huge on the Italian Job.
Currently, I mean, like I still have a fucking 2015 Honda Accord that's like a sport version type. I forget some special edition one that I got at the used car dealership. But uh, if I ever got a new car, it would for sure be electric. I don't think I'd make it a Tesla just because there's more options at this point now, and there's going to be more and more options by the time I
Yeah.
even get a new car. But I don't think they'll either be a Tesla or a Mini Cooper at this point. I'll
I've
just
been
be
trying to
honest.
like
But
convince myself to try other cars besides the Tesla Model 3 that I tried out because I'm just like, yeah, I can't just go for the first electric car I try, but goddamn, the Model 3 is cool.
yeah, I mean,
If I had the money, I'd try out the new DeLorean, but I think it's
oh
like
yeah.
200,000 some odd
I mean,
dollars. And I'm just
I
like,
think Ford has good options. I'm pretty sure, right?
that's
Isn't
fair,
Ford
yeah.
option? Yeah. So, but all right.
I hear
That
good things about
is
the Hyundai Ioniq 5, surprisingly.
okay. So that is it for Gamescom. Now we still have James. We're getting a little late here, but I
Yeah,
don't
I
know if you'd be
noticed.
down for this. I think we still continue what we're doing right now, but to make it easier for the episode, why don't we split it into two? One will be the news centric stuff, and we'll just be Westworld and Bullet Train.
You still want to record those tonight?
Or, I mean, do we? How much do we want to push back? Because this seems like a very news-centric episode
Yeah,
already.
I don't think we need to talk about Bullet Train or Westworld tonight. Well, Westworld you wanted to talk about because it just finished,
Yeah,
but that was like also a week ago at this point.
yeah. And Bullet Train was like 2 weeks ago, but I was really excited about Bullet Train. Um,
We'll see how long it takes us to get through these
yeah, okay,
things.
yeah. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. So, we'll move on to to the next news piece, you guys. I mean, I did say this would be a longer episode. We're still like under an
True,
hour and a half at this point. Uh,
barely.
yeah, yeah, but we're still under it. We're still under it. Honestly, that was the biggest news still. I think the rest will
Yeah,
be
for sure.
somewhat easier. But okay, we've heard a lot of the DC stuff going on, to kind of spark notes it really fast. Batgirl no longer coming out. It's getting a private screening for the people that worked on it. That's about it. It's being used as a tax cut and some other shit. The Aquaman cartoon that's on HBO Max is getting delisted among a bunch of other HBO Max shit currently to prepare for its merge with Discovery, but I also think they're doing that for more tax stuff, but also they're trying to refine the catalog that's on there too. And then now a couple things like a bunch of animated stuff among other shows I think are now no longer even going to come out on HBO Max, including Batman the Cape Crusader. And they're all being shopped around at other networks and whatnot, which the Batman Cape Crusader I was worried about. And then I realized, wait, why the fuck am I worried? It's Batman the Cape Crusader. Why would I think this wouldn't happen still? Right now, at least I think like Apple, Hulu,
Oh my god, my cat is meowing
and
so loud
Netflix are
outside
all
my door.
fucking, huh?
My cat's meowing so loud outside my
Oh
door.
my god, I didn't hear it, but like Apple, Netflix, Hulu are all like vying for it now. Apparently, like a bunch of parties are interested in it, which is funny because Hulu is still owned by like Disney at this point now. So that'd be funny if Hulu got it. But honestly, like I think if we're gonna have to have it at a third party, I would prefer it to be with Apple for Batman. Just because Apple right now seems like it's going to be very much on high quality content at this point, and what better place to
Yeah.
put Batman than fucking Apple than if it's not going to be on HBO Max. But it's still fucking crazy. They don't want to put Batman on HBO Max. Like, what the fuck? But the other big thing here now is that the movies Shazam, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, is now going to be from it was going to come out this year still, right? It was going to come out
Yeah,
in December.
pretty sure it was like one of the 4 movies they mentioned. Well, wait, no, but they also moved that shit around, so never mind.
Let me double check what the fuck, when was it supposed to? All right, I already forgot the original release date. Point is, Shazam 2 is now March 17th, 2023. Aquaman 2 is now, oh yeah, Shazam was going to come out. So Shazam was going to come out in December, and Aquaman was going to come out in March. I'm remembering now. And then The Flash was June for next year. What's happening now is The Flash is now, I mean, The Flash is still the same date. It's still in June. They haven't changed it. But Shazam 2 has been moved from December to March. So it took Aquaman's slot and is now March 17th of next year. Aquaman is now Christmas of next year.
That's insane.
It's a full year delay.
What?
Yeah.
It's like done. Or like the Flash is done too, I'm
Well,
pretty
no, I think
sure.
they're doing reshoots for the Flash now too.
Oh, yeah.
Which brings something in. So the reasons for all of these is apparently really big. If I'm correct, some of this might be just rumors. Others is seems like it's all already full confirmation, considering they're now in the movies. But we already know that Ben Affleck's Batman will be in The Flash and Aquaman 2. And now that they, originally The Flash was coming out before Aquaman 2. And, it would have been like whatever happens in the changes in The Flash, you would see more or less reflected in Aquaman 2. And then they switched it and they were like, no, fuck it. We'll just put Aquaman 2 first. And then now it's back to the original style of release. And we know Ben Affleck's Batman is in both. One of the big rumors is, now that we don't even have Michael Keaton in Batgirl or any Batgirl,
Yeah.
what it's sounding like is they're minimizing the ending's worth of Michael Keaton's Batman and instead doing reshoots and bringing back Ben Affleck's Batman in more of that movie, potentially in the beginning and end, if anything. And if they do that and then they have him reappear in Aquaman 2, then we're potentially, I could be wrong, I could be completely wrong, seeing a bigger return of Ben Affleck's Batman as a more permanent DCEU Batman again, where they're like, hey, we want you back in it. There's even a big rumor that he'll be fighting Deathstroke in Aquaman 2. There might be a sequence there where it's Batman v Deathstroke that would have been in the original Batman movie. Like I said, could be wrong, cool. But that's apparently a thing.
I guess it'd be cool to get a piece of that movie.
There is also a really big rumor that's saying that Superman will appear at the end of Black Adam or something like that. And it could be Henry Cavill's Superman. And then this one is more far-fetched. I don't know if this is actually true, but Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman could be in Shazam 2 at a certain point as well. And if these are all correct, or if they would go in this direction, like I can't even name sources, guys. I'm sorry. I don't even remember everything because it's such a fucking mess. The internet is a fucking mess with all the news of all the shit because there's so much news coming out right now. It's just like a chaotic fucking black hole of shit right now. There's so much. It's like hard to even like grasp it all still. What we're potentially seeing here is the return of the Trinity, where, Zaslav, the new guy in charge of everything, is like, yeah, the franchise the brand we want to have is DC, but the franchises we really want to bring back up are the three most important DC characters that are literally the ones you're like. He did point out stuff that he's right about, like, as a guy with number, like, I'm gonna be honest, this Zaslav guy seems like a fucking robot, where he's like, all that matters is the numbers. So he's just like fucking heartlessly throwing everything out in Chef, and you're just like, no, whatever, shit, you're just canceling Batgirl. It's like, the numbers, idiot, the numbers, and you're like, oh, okay. But he emphasized very heavily those three characters being very important to Warner Brothers and to everything they can do, because how powerful they are, ironically enough, now that they're putting Batman on fucking third-party stuff. It's for a cartoon, I don't get that. But it would make sense that they would then bring back these three as like heavy hitters, especially because, like, think about it, guys. They have been having trouble with movies recently. They've been getting all these delays and everything else. Yeah, Matt Reeves' Batman for Pattinson is like still doing its thing, but it's standalone. Joker, standalone. These are standalone things. They're still going to hit them up because they're very successful, but they still need their franchise. And with these three characters, we're not going to see them in any movies anytime soon of their own. So what's the next best thing we can do? Oh, keep putting them in the other movies that are already pretty much made and done. So put them in The Flash, put them in Aquaman 2, put them in Black Adam, put them in Shazam, and have them there, not as the main character, but they're there, and you go, oh, right, these are still relevant people, and they're coming back, and they're here, and they're big. That's what I think that's going on now, and that's what I think they potentially would do. And as someone that just was trying to make money and do stuff, that makes the most sense. Utilize your heaviest hitters that you've not done a good job with at all.
Yeah,
like, holy shit, it makes sense. I mean, they even confirmed, I mean, the big thing is they might have already found their Kevin Feige too. Dan Lin, I
I
believe
saw
is his
that.
name.
Yeah.
And the guy, I think he has produced. I was looking at his work, and he had two things that actually got me pretty excited, if I'm going to be honest. Because the way this, now I remember, he produced all three Lego movies.
Oh.
So he was big on the Lego movies, especially Lego Batman. I think besides Lego Movie 1 and 2, he also was big with Godzilla King of the Monsters and Godzilla versus Kong. So he was a part of all those movies. And I was like, all right, I'm in. Just make him the head. That's fine. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's going to do good or not. We won't know until he actually architects it because, that's a much
It seems
bigger.
like Hamada doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's
He,
gone now.
yeah.
Or
So,
soon.
yeah. Dan Lin, we don't know if he can pull this off. It's hard to say because that's also, I don't blame him if he can't pull it off. This is a big fucking feat to do. It's like, oh, make a 10-year plan of all these movies. It's not easy. Only one guy's pulled it off, and even now, it's fucking boring. It's getting. I'm exhausted by it. I'm fatigued the shit by it.
Well,
Uh,
even like at least Kevin Feige got to start from like basically the beginning.
yeah.
This guy's got to like try to salvage something and move forward. Like
Hmm.
what?
Yeah, he's got a crazy job, and you know, Lego movies are one thing, Godzilla is one thing, but this is much bigger, and this is
Yeah.
much harder. This is going to be much more difficult. So, I want to support this guy. If he gets this job, like this is, even if he fucks it up, like I can't blame him. That's a big fucking thing to deal with. Like that's a lot. I hope he can do the best that he can, and that we enjoy what we can from it at this point, especially at this point, because I'm just tired, and DC just fucking kills me with
Yeah.
their movies. So I'm like, just give me something good, please. So we'll see what happens there, but there's so much going on right
I
now.
can't believe they're delaying Aquaman an entire
I
year.
know it's fucking killer. It's like I'm dying inside from it.
And
Uh,
not even for like production reasons. It's just like
we
it
just have
doesn't
Black
fit our
Adam now.
schedule.
It's just like, all right, get your Zoa and Terramana ready to mix together when you go watch Black Adam. I don't know if those mix together well. We'll find out if I'm in the hospital or not, or my kidneys are fucked. We'll see. I'm actually will research that. I don't want to fuck up my kidneys in a theater
Right.
watching Black Adam for The Rock, if anything. Especially if he's just playing The Rock that can fly. Like, I'm not gonna. As soon as that dude ruined the fucking movie already for me. Like that movie got ruined because he just was like, he doesn't have hair, he doesn't have the ears, he's not even doing an Egyptian accent. He's just the fucking Rock, and he flies around, and I'm like,
Yeah, it is like
oh, he's right.
it is even it is really weird that he doesn't even have like a wig on or
I
anything.
cracked.
Like
He's like, I've been wanting to do this character for 10 years, and like making this happen for like 10 years or some shit. He said, I don't know if that's actually
he
true.
wanted to be Black Adam specifically.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. But he wanted to do
Weird.
like, I don't fucking know, dude. But the point is, like, he's acting like this is like he's putting his whole heart into it, and he doesn't even make the character seem like the character. He just makes him. And you're just
Yeah.
like, oh. I'm still gonna watch it, but I'm a lot less excited than I was before. Just because I realized the Rock does a good job of hyping it up, and then you just realize like it's all a show. Fuck, I
Yeah.
forgot. Yeah.
It's like DC's like, no one's gonna go to this movie to see Black Adam. We gotta get The Rock.
Yeah, more or less. Like, so sad, so sad. Okay. The last piece of news, guys. Godzilla versus Kong. We already knew they were making a sequel movie, and if you guys don't know, that there's a Godzilla Apple TV Plus show coming, and it's gonna have Kurt Russell and his son in it, and I'm really excited. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna have like multiple decades of Godzilla, so it's gonna be really fucking awesome. But I think it's gonna be like, I guess the past two now, maybe. Whereas Godzilla versus Kong sequel, takes place after. And I think we got like a full synopsis here now too. Um, let's see where it, give me 1 second, guys. I had like all of it here a second ago. 1 second. All right, let's see. So, this is the plot synopsis for the Godzilla vs. Kong sequel, guys. This latest entry follows up the explosive showdown of Godzilla vs. Kong with an all-new cinematic adventure pitting the almighty Kong and the fearsome Godzilla against a colossal undiscovered threat hidden within our world, challenging their very existence and our own. The epic new film will delve further into the histories of these titans, their origins, and the mysteries of Skull Island and beyond, while uncovering the mythic battle that helped forge these extraordinary beings and tied them to humankind forever. There's a lot of familiar faces set to reprise their roles. This includes Rebecca Hall as Eileen Andrews, Brian Tyree Henry as Bernie Hayes, and Kaylee Hoddle as Gia, which I believe Gia was the girl that did sign language. Bernie was the guy with the
Huh.
podcast,
Oh.
which I'm very excited because I just saw him in Bullet Train and he was great in that, honestly. Ironically enough, he was with Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was in Godzilla 2014.
He's also in Atlanta,
Is he in? Oh,
right?
is he?
Wait, am
I
I
haven't watched
wrong? Am I thinking of
Atlanta.
the wrong guy?
I'm honestly not sure, man. I never watched. I never watched
I may
Atlanta.
be
That's on
thinking of the
my
wrong guy
queue
because
still.
I might be blanking on who actually was this like podcast dude. Hold on.
Mm. But Irene Andrews, the character Rebecca Hall plays, she was the female lead in Godzilla vs Kong. She was the one with like Skarsgård the whole time, like the one with Gia. So
Yeah.
those two are coming back. Let me actually pulled up real fast. I think they might have a bigger IMDb list. Okay.
Oh yeah. Tyree Henry. He was not only in Atlanta, but he was also Fastos in
Yeah, he's okay.
the Eternals.
IKEA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fall collection.
I love
Uh,
this guy.
I forgot also Dan Stevens is starring in this new movie. If you guys don't know Dan Stevens, he plays Beast in the live action Beauty and the Beast. He also plays Legion in Legion, and Dan Stevens is great. I
That
love Dan
dude
Stevens.
played Beast?
Yes, that was the same guy.
Oh, whoa,
Yeah,
interesting.
so I'm really pumped to see Dan Stevens in this as his character's name is Steven Randa. The other characters or other people cast so far is a Rachel House. These three we don't know who they are. Rachel House, Alex Ferns, and Fala Chen. Which Fala Chen was, I believe, Shang-Chi's mom in that
Interesting.
movie. And let me see. Rachel House was I don't know what the fuck any of this is. Okay, Topaz in Thor Ragnarok. What the fuck is the
I
Topaz?
do not remember a character named Topaz, unless
Oh
they
wait,
just like were
the
uncredited.
the Master's Grandmaster's bodyguard.
Oh, was that? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Uh,
And
I
she's
don't know
Grandma
why.
Tala in Moana, so it's I don't
Interesting.
that's okay. And Alex
So,
Ferns is sorry, one last guy. Alex
uh,
Ferns is Commissioner Loeb in the Batman. The dude that's get the
yeah,
rat
yeah.
thing on his head. Yeah. So oh he's in Joy Noel. Okay, that's even better. Like I love Joy Noel. That's a fucking great movie. So I'm actually pumped to have this guy in it too then. All right. This will be fun. But yeah, that's the cast we have so far.
But yeah, the description of the synopsis that you mentioned, like there was like one part that said that they would like discover some like gargantuan threat from like deep below the earth or whatever. And like I don't know if this makes a whole hell of
Hollow
a lot of
Earth
sense.
for those. I mean the that like all that other realm
I
inside the
mean,
earth.
that would probably be the most obvious answer. But for whatever reason, I started thinking, and like maybe this is just way too soon to do it, but they could do it eventually. They've already done the oxygen bomb. And I totally forgot that that was in King of the Monsters,
Yeah.
which was before Godzilla versus Kong. And
Mm.
we never got to learn why Skull Island became like uninhabitable for like a long time.
What you mean like in Godzilla vs. Kong?
Yeah,
They could
it's just
say
like,
there's like the flooding was like the island was being like
but why though? Like
oh
it
that is true.
like it just seemed like all of a sudden like the island became like uninhabitable to everything but Kong.
It's true.
And
I
I
cracked
don't
up the
know
whole fucking
why.
natives are gone. I was like, oh
Yeah,
okay.
that was so weird that they're just like, oh yeah, they're all gone. Like,
Sorry.
really?
We're
Yeah.
sorry.
But I don't know if how they would connect these two, but it would also be really interesting if they actually did destroy ya.
They're not gonna
Because
destroy it.
not this soon, but they've already done the oxygen bomb, so like it's a possibility, which would be
And they've
interesting.
done Ghidorah, which like I said, if you
Also,
guys
how fucking cool would it be to see Godzilla and Kong versus Destroya?
I don't remember what number it was for that episode that we did Godzilla versus Kong. I think it was a special maybe. I don't remember what I might look back just to see, but when we did talk about it, it was very much just like holy shit, yeah, you can only go back to June 2021.
Uh-huh.
I can't even look further. But if you have the possibility of watching it, you can still if it's still open, just see if you can find it anywhere. We talk about all the reasons, like kind of why we were disappointed with Godzilla versus Kong, but also we point out all the loose ends in it because there are a lot of loose ends in that
Yeah.
fucking movie. I don't know if this one would answer them because there's a lot. Like, I mean, we still didn't even have Charles Dance come back, which was just kind of like,
Yeah.
so fucking random.
Like they
So
set up a potential Mecha Ghidorah, and they're just like, eh.
yeah, and then they turn it into Mecha Godzilla, and you're just kind of like, well, that was even weirder.
Oh right, that's what they did
Yeah,
with
they used
that.
the heads
That's
for
fucking
it
weird.
was so fucking weird. It didn't.
Yeah.
A lot of that movie didn't make sense. That's why
And
I
it
was like,
wasn't even like in the body. It was just like they were using it as like the remote control mechanism.
yeah. And I'm hoping Godzilla versus Kong 2 is better than the first one because, guys, the first one is, to me, I'm sorry, it was disappointing. It was a very brain dead movie, incredibly brain dead.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even try. They did not even try with like humans at all. Which I get it. It's about monsters fighting. That's great. But if you watch all the other Godzilla movies, there is still like a fucking story that occurs in those movies. This one has one, but it's so fucking like you go watch Shin Godzilla and then watch this and you go like, what the fuck? Like you can do human
Yeah.
characters. You
Mm-hmm.
can. It's possible. You just have to not fucking yeah, you just have to try. That's it. So I hope they try for this one.
They lost me so hard at like, wait a minute, no one knew that Kong could sign language. How did this little girl teach him sign language and no
They have
one
cameras
fucking
everywhere.
ever noticed? And they have cameras everywhere.
Fucking dumb.
Jesus.
Oh god, it's a good movie. At least Godzilla won. That's all that matters. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool kind of seeing these progressions. I'll be honest, like we'll probably honestly I really want to anyway, but when we get more news about this and about the Godzilla Apple TV series, we'll probably just as the news comes, we'll just talk about it. Just because it's one of those things. It's like honestly, like I said before, the things you'll always hear us talk about is Godzilla and Destiny. Those are constants, if anything.
Yeah.
So we'll keep the news steady trickling in as it comes, especially too if they do announce Singular Point season 2, which I really, really fucking want. They were teasing the fucking like Showa era Mechagodzilla and he looked glorious. But yeah, that's all the news, and we are 46 minutes in. Okay. I'm
We
gonna
could
shoot
maybe
through
get
this.
through Westworld and
We'll see. Okay, let's just try it, guys. We're gonna try it. If anything, like I said, we can divide this episode up into news and then Westworld.
yeah.
So we could see how that goes. But yeah, okay. We watched the 4th season of Westworld and it was good. I think I liked it a lot more than 3. 3 felt I as much as I did enjoy
Really?
3 felt very much like in its own little world. Like it didn't even feel connected to the first 2 seasons of Westworld at all. Whereas this one
Huh.
felt a lot more in that style, I guess you could say. I think it's because they did the split style of storytelling where you
Okay.
think you're watching one timeline and then it
Yeah.
turns out they're like, no, that's the past and this is the future. And you're like, fuck. Also,
Yeah.
spoilers for Westworld, obviously. Anytime we talk
Right.
about anything here, it's spoilers. But I guess the first thing I want to go through here is just yeah, they returned with the dual timelines here. And it, there's a time jump between this and season 3. Season 3 is like, oh, we're having a revolution, and it's like we won. The people wanted to make change against like all the people, like all the rich in power and all the shit, and they were able to do it. And everything seems like it's cool. And we see like Caleb has a family and everything else, but it turns out that it tricks you because you're like in one like area you have Caleb and Maeve doing their thing, in another area you have Bernard waking up years
Yeah.
later and Stubbs is there, and you're like, oh, okay, so they're doing their thing, and then it turns out
I love
uh
Bernard's just like covered in dust.
but Caleb and Maeve are in that point of time, but Bernard and Stubbs are currently much later in time than they are.
Yeah.
And you don't know that until midway through the season, more or less.
I did love
And
that reveal that like the one like female rebel that was like really fought like hounding them for like a while is Caleb's daughter.
yeah,
Like that shit was like,
like
oh my god, what?
once you start catching on that there's different timelines, you start realizing that who she is. Like it starts
Yeah.
trickling in. You're like, oh no, she couldn't be. Oh my god, she is. And the thing with this was, season 3 was very much linear. they kept it very straight. It's one time, like the time zone, and nothing else is going on. It starts and finished, and it's done. Which I know we liked it. Apparently, a lot of people didn't. I found out.
Weird.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, what
and
I
it was like a
liked
lot
about the
less
last
popular.
season, what I liked a lot about the last season was the idea that like it's not just the hosts that are like stuck on their loops. Like humanity has also kind of made its own not a literal cage, but like a figurative one, and like we're also just as stuck on our loops. And I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't like the setup for this season, because they basically like start off and they're like, yeah, I mean, they had a whole war to end that system, and then people just kind of went back to just doing their jobs and living their daily lives like
Yeah,
the same exact way.
it
So
just it's like now they're choosing to, which is the interesting
yeah, and
part.
like I
Like,
like that commentary of like we weren't put into a cage, we made that cage like ourselves.
yeah,
So interesting, but I just made me feel like they were like, yeah, there was no point to the last season because it
which is
didn't
funny
matter.
because we just watched They Live, and the whole thing is consume and all this other shit.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
very
yeah.
recurrent, I guess you could say. But yeah, so you watch seasons 1 and 2, and what those seasons do is, you'll think you're watching one set thing, and then they fucking flip everything over on you, and they go, oh, no, 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 these are completely
And I
those two
love that
guys
there's
you
always
see are
hints.
this. Yeah, because in the original part you have William and the Man in Black, and you think those are
Hmm.
two. At a certain point you start piecing it together, but then it's like those are those are the same guy. That's just
Hmm.
how much time in between these two things is happening, and it destroys kind of your entire way of thinking for that first season, and for the show entirely, because it sets like the style of the show, in which the second one pretty
Hmm.
much does as well, and it kind of does it much more, not as big of a time span, considering like William is aged up like 40 years or something, 30 or 40 years. In this one, it's more like 5 days, but in that 5 days, like a lot has happened where, you see Bernard like retracing his steps and shit and all this other stuff. Season 3 goes very linear. And in this one, in season 4, pretty much like you think you're getting that linear thing again, but because season 3 reset the precedent, so you're not expecting it again, and then they just return to that season 1-2 style, and you're like, oh fuck, it's been 20 something years, and it just throws everything off because it's you're just not expecting it. You're
Yeah.
not ready when it occurs, and I think because of this, like season 3 was very entertaining to me, but it didn't blow my mind. I wasn't like, I
Yeah.
can't believe they've done this. This was so like biggest like, oh, this is mind shock. This is shocking to the mind how they actually did this. And uh when they do that reveal, like it's very interesting when
Yeah. Like I love you
yeah,
basically you just find out what Charlotte Hale's plan is to like somehow make this like mind control virus thing and infect a bunch of flies with it, and then just like let them out in the environment and just slowly or get apparently quickly infect like all of humanity, so that she can use these like sonic wave emitter things to control us just like hosts,
yeah,
which is super interesting. And you're like, oh
incredibly
shit.
incredibly disturbing.
And Caleb and Maeve are like, okay, we got to stop this. We got to stop Charlotte. And then the turn happens, and you're just like, oh shit,
They
this
lost.
happened. They lost like 20 years ago. Like Charlotte won, and she has enslaved all of humanity and has basically made a city for hosts to fuck with humans for fun.
Yeah.
And like, so that I did like about the season of like the whole like completely switching like who's on top and stuff like that was so interesting.
And here's the thing too, like that's not Charlotte Hale. We already know that's why. Like
Yeah, that
that's
was the other weird thing is like I it had been so long since watching season 3 that I had like literally forgotten like, wait, who? I know she's supposed to not be the person in the skin, but
she's like
like
Dolores, but
who
she's
is
a
she?
different
Yeah,
Dolores.
like I
Because
forgot
there
she
were
was
two
like a cop.
Doloreses.
like a copy of Dolores, but like the evil Dolores.
Yeah, because we learn about the Dolores in season 1, where the one that starts killing people is actually Wyatt, the one that
Yeah.
what's his face put in there in the originally, when he like does that full wake up call to her, and then he's like,
Yeah, when
kill
she
me.
was supposed to be like a villain initially in the story.
Yeah. So you have Wyatt and Dolores, and you see Dolores still in her Dolores skin, whereas Wyatt gets the
That
Hale
was the
skin.
thing that confused me the most about this season. Was I was like, wait, okay, so Charlotte Hale is still around, and she calls herself Charlotte too, or at least everyone else does.
Yeah.
And but then like Dolores was still around, and I was and then like uh oh god, what was the guy's name?
William?
No. The guy that she was
Oh, Teddy?
Teddy. And then Teddy showed up, and I was like,
Yeah.
how are they both here? I don't understand.
Yeah, no, that was a big like mind bender, where it just, yeah, it was so confusing, and it takes a while to process like, how does this work? Like, and one of my friends actually, before we got the reveal, he's like, what if this is another park, and they're just now they redid it and they put him in a park like this, and it's just a modern day one, and it turned out it wasn't. And it's because they do, I think they stack the twists on top of each other. The first one is the realization of the time jump, of
Mhm.
like how much far in the future it was. The second realization is, you're waiting for Dolores and Teddy to run into like the others when they're in the same building, and then you find out they're not even really physically there, that they're
Yeah.
just a program.
Like
And
Dolores is basically the program in charge of writing all the stories for the humans to like put them on their loops.
yeah, and she kind of sees Caleb a little, like, I don't think Caleb even sees her, she sees him.
Yeah.
And she was just like, who is this? Which is so sad considering everything that happens in season 3 with her and him.
Yeah.
But I mean, nothing romantic. They never really get romantic, but she like wakes him up and is like, look at the world and shit.
Dude, that was like my favorite scene when she showed him his like timeline. It was like you're on just as set a path as I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of the most mind-blowing moments of that season.
But the crazy thing about this is, whereas season 1 gives you that timeline bump where you're like, oh, these are two separate times, but they're more still in line with each other. Same with season 2. And like I said, season 3 is linear. This one is different in the fact that, like, what you're seeing in the start of the season is completely 180 degrees different than what you're getting in at the end of the season. Especially just in terms of, once you split that season in half, like episodes 1 through 5 and 6 through 10, they are like a different show. It's not even, it doesn't feel like the same season. It's just something
Yeah,
insanely
no, the
different.
once that like the first revelation of like, oh, they lost, like it does like literally become like a completely different storyline, because then it's like, oh, now we're in like host city.
Yeah, it's host city, where literally the humans and the hosts are all together, and you honestly don't even know who's who at this point for a
Like
lot of it.
I love that interaction between Copy William and like the random people like at the table. He's just like having dinner with them, and the guy's like, oh well, I worked so hard for my like position, like so I deserve to do and say whatever I want. And William's like, you actually believe that? Like, you didn't do shit, we made this story for you. Like, and he just like basically starts to fuck with the guy by like sort of revealing the truth behind everything, because he's like, you won't remember this anyway, like I could do
And
whatever I want to you.
he walks away, deals with like the rogue person, comes back,
He's literally
and
like, stay here, I'll be back. And they literally just sit there and stay for hours, and they don't even seem to like, they seem confused like why they won't get up, but they just like, they know they can't for some reason.
then they smile when he comes back. They're like, oh, good, yeah.
Yeah,
It
oh
was,
god,
honestly, it was like, this is
super
depression season.
unsettling.
Yeah, super depression season, because then they go like, oh, the world, the mass extinction is going to occur, and you're literally like, why?
Yeah, and Bernard keeps saying like, we literally can't save everyone, but we
Yeah,
can save a few. And he's so cryptic about like what he means by that.
it's so disheartening, especially because you don't really even know like what happened. It seemed like society was kind of fixing itself, and then it just went to shit,
Yeah.
and you don't even understand why. I think that's the worst. I think that was I
Dude,
don't
I
want to
love
say
that
that was flaws in
William.
the story or not, but I mean, they don't really explain why all these things are occurring in terms of like, why are we
Yeah.
ending? Is it just because you just ordered everyone to kill each other?
Yeah, I
And is
think it's
that just
literally
here, or
just,
is that around the entire world that you just made that occur?
yeah, that I couldn't tell you. I don't know why it's like there's just the one city left, or if there is more
It's
than
just
just the
like
one
it's
city.
just their version of New York, it felt
Because
like.
it literally seemed to be like a desert everywhere else, which was weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Or at least they only went to like one other place, and then what was it, the Hoover Dam?
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
I think that was it. But I think that's the issue there was they don't really answer that question of what happened everywhere else. I don't think they do that. So it wasn't a perfect
I
season.
mean, maybe the implication is just that like in every version of like the simulations that Bernard was running, like William always did that kill switch thing. And that's why, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Mm.
Which, by the way, when he was just like, I'm tired of this game, so I'm just gonna put it on expert mode and just have everyone kill each other.
Which is funny because like the hosts freak out when all the people like the humans start killing each
Yeah,
other and they're like, what the fuck? And like what's his face, who was one of like I guess one of the gang guys back in Westworld. He was like the guy that plays Trevor in GTA 5 was there and he's like, oh my god, we could do this. And he like turns immediately dies, and you're like, oh.
yeah,
Oh my god, that was insane. Just like the amount of fighting there, and there was like one dude would die and they get killed by another dude, and then it turned out there was a sniper there that's like, I'm gonna kill everyone. And then the man in black just comes and kills him, and you're just like,
yeah,
what? um, but yeah, the whole, like I said, the whole like change in pacing and in style and in story was just such a flabbergasting moment because
yeah,
you really did feel like you're already committed to Caleb and Maeve doing what they were doing, and to have that completely derailed where you're just like, yeah, now we're just going with Bernard and Stubbs trying to basically do what they can and unbury Maeve and find the multiple clones of Caleb that keep fucking dying horribly, and you just see like
yeah.
literally the
That
most
was
amount
an
of
interesting, weird episode where like Charlotte was doing the same thing that William was doing, where he was trying to recreate his like father-in-law or whatever so he could just like fuck with him forever, but the host bodies were never able to maintain a personality, like a human personality, indefinitely, so they would just degrade and fall apart eventually.
yeah.
And so like the same thing was happening to Caleb, and it's just like the idea that there have been so many copies of him that like some of them occasionally figure out a way to escape and get a little bit farther was so like creepy and sad and interesting that he kept finding like notes from previous ones of him, and then like when he found like a dead body of himself and it was just like, oh shit, this one only got this far, okay, and then he
And
like
then he
looks
gets like,
outside the vent
he
and
was
he
like
and
three.
there's like three on the ground and he's just like, oh Jesus, what the fuck.
And then he uses the one that's barely alive, and he's like, he literally says, like,
He's
use me.
literally, yeah, just use me, find Frankie.
That's all. That's the whole point. And it's crazy that, you go through seasons 1 and 2 and you meet all these characters and some of them get killed off. And when you get to season 3, you're pretty much, you've lost a lot of your characters already. And that's when
Mm-hmm.
they bring Caleb in. And so you're so focused on Caleb now being a new important character, especially like, he's coming off of Breaking Bad. You're very much into this guy. Aaron, what's his name? Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul.
And you believe that he's now an integral part to this show, and to then have this season come in right after that and just go, no, just
Yeah, he's
fucking
just
kill
gonna
him.
basically be tortured by like Charlotte for a long
Yeah,
time.
it's just sad. It
And
made
she
you
like keeps
feel
William
horrible.
like in stasis in the basement, and like I love that reason of like he's like, why not just kill me, and she's like, what was that you said once, there's no point in winning if there's not a loser.
Yeah.
And
So
she like literally just keeps him to gloat every once in a while.
and I did want to go through like each character, which I guess starting with like Maeve and Caleb, like they go through, and Maeve is they're after they won, they separated, like, because she saw he could be happy with his wife. I forget who it was, but his wife and kid and everything else. And Maeve accidentally sets off like
Yeah,
an
she
EMP
like
that allows them to find her.
yeah, she like went and lived off the grid for a while, and she said she got curious and wanted to see if she could reach out and check on Caleb,
Yeah,
and she used like too much power, and it was like people were able to find her.
yeah, pretty much. Hale's people found her,
Yeah.
and they went to then go and hunt down Hale. And you feel like they're the main characters going through it, and then it turns out no, that's not the case. Like I said, we say everything that goes through with Caleb, and his whole thing after that is just he wants to find his daughter, which he finally does, and it's heartbreaking to find out. Like he's just like, hey, I'm here. All right, leave me. I'm gonna go die now, because there's
Yeah,
nothing
dude,
else you
like
can do
the
for me.
when she's like, I'm not gonna leave you here again. He's like, Frankie, your dad died a long time ago. Whatever I am, I'm not him. And I was just
And
like, oh, God, that's so
yeah,
fucking sad.
it's just yeah, he's just gone. And then and the way he dies too, I mean, getting the flies taking him over from the robot version of his daughter was even more fucked up.
That was creepy as
Yeah,
shit.
that was fucked up pale. But then and the fact that she was able to get all these designs of these people that fast, it was just kind of insane how their hosts were able to replace people that quickly. But
Yeah.
then Maeve, like, we get her whole thing there too. She sacrifices herself for Caleb, and then it was still in vain anyway. He still dies, and she gets unburied by, like, Bernard and Stubbs and Frankie. And you think like, oh my god, she's gonna do it now. And she does, like, help him with the Hoover Dam, and she helps him,
Oh
like,
my God, my fucking cat.
she goes to fight Hale, and she wins. And then the Man in Black just comes and kills her immediately. And you're just
Yeah.
like, that's it. Like, you don't expect that from Maeve either, because she's like, besides, like, Maeve and Dolores and Bernard are the three pinnacles of the show, more or less. And they just kill her off just willy-nilly, and you're just like, what
Well,
the
it's also
fuck?
sad that like Bernard knew the whole time that like the only way they have a chance of saving anyone is if both he and Maeve sacrifice themselves. So he
Yeah,
keeps telling her that like, yeah, sure, once we're done with this, I'll hook you up to
server,
the
and you could see your
Sublime,
daughter.
and yeah, and you could see your daughter finally. And the whole time he's like, I know she's not gonna make it.
And she finds out too, and she's just like, well, fuck, all right. Well, I guess we got to do it anyway for Frankie and for Caleb, because I already invested this much into this family.
Oh my
I
God,
can't,
my fucking cat. I'm gonna open
I
my
can't
door
even
real
hear the
quick.
cat. Okay, go for it. Excuse this short little thing for a second, guys. But uh, yeah, so really, because it's crazy how that's really it for Maeve and Caleb. Like, that's all we can say. Like, there's not much else. And then you get Bernard and Stubbs, and that whole thing too. Like I said, they're like in the future when Bernard wakes up, and they go through their whole thing. And Bernard now has future powers where he can just see everything, and you even see
Well, it's
the
like
Niv.
he ran through so many simulations that he basically is like, I know everything that could possibly happen.
Yeah, he
And
even
I love
like
like
says
throughout the
like,
season, he's saying like this works like 80% of the time.
and Stubbs is just like, okay, fuck it. Even like when ordering from the fucking diner and shit. And you have the Native American guy that's talking to him that was one of the hosts before, and he's kind of like helping him because Bernard was kind of in the Sublime when he was going through all that stuff. Was that what that
Yeah,
was?
that's
Yeah,
where he was, and like that they because the Sublime lets you run whatever world you want to be in. He basically used it as like a simulation machine,
yeah.
kind of like the Infinite Forest in Destiny.
I never say that again.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he, like, more or less finds Frankie, and they work with her until he ultimately sacrifices himself too. And it's just so disheartening too that just see, no, Caleb's already dead. Maeve dies immediately. And then Bernard shortly follows suit because Man in Black just kills him too. Like, he already knows he's going to die from him, and he just gets got immediately after. And then what's worse is, like, he tells Stubbs, you're not going to make it. And you're literally wondering what's going to happen to
that
Stubbs.
dude, he died like really suddenly.
Suddenly, like, he beats the other human that's there, and it's just like Clementine comes in and just fucking kills him, which was fucking shocking.
Yeah, that was
Which
sad.
Stubbs, like I said, it was sad to see that happen to Stubbs, because he
I liked
Honestly,
him.
he grew on me a lot from season 1 all the way where we get here.
There's also an insane revelation that he was a host the whole time.
Yeah, it was just like, poor guy, all right. And for him to meet that end too, because he was doing a good job, honestly. He was lasting a while. Um, to just get killed by Clementine was just kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Speaking of Clementine, she was the prostitute originally in the Westworld, and she had her issues where she kind of malfunctioned in the first season. The second season, she was working, I think, with Dolores for a bit until the humans captured her and turned her into like a giant virus that caused all the hosts to start fighting each other, kind of
That's
getting this
why that
line.
happened.
They turned
Okay.
her into like Death the Pale Rider practically. And then season 3, she helps, I think she's in season 3, she helps Maeve for a bit. And when Maeve makes freedom for everyone, Clementine gets freedom too, and she goes and does her own thing. She literally is just living a peaceful, happy life until the Man in Black finds her
Yeah.
and kills her, and then reprograms her and makes her evil, which was so sad to see that they literally just like took a girl who was just enjoying freedom and turned her into
Yeah.
another like
And
assistant kill machine.
it's weird. I couldn't tell if like because she seemed like partners with Hale by the
I think
end,
because they
but maybe
programmed
that's
her to
just
be partners with
yeah,
Hale,
I think it's
and
just the programming.
yeah, and it made her into just like, oh, I'm gonna kill these people too. And it was sad that it was like she still had survival instincts, but it wasn't what she had before. And it was sad to see like they literally just turned her personality into just that of a villain when
Yeah.
she never was to begin with before that.
She was a victim the
Um,
whole time.
yeah, even I mean, until she was a villain, and then you're like, well, there's nothing more we can do for her.
Yeah.
She just fucking killed Stubbs, and now she's trying to kill Caleb and Frankie.
Yeah.
Um, and then Frankie, uh, I feel bad for this girl who lost her dad. Her mom eventually dies, and her mom more or less starts the rebellion, helping like have people unnoticed and anyone that would break away. I forget what they were called. Uh, the people that would wake up from being like host people,
The Outliers.
outliers, and she became like the main person to help with the outliers, and to the point where like this dude more or less becomes her brother, and then gets replaced by a host. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a whole fucking
That was an
thing.
interesting thing where Bernard was like, I couldn't tell you who exactly it was because in so many of the simulations it was different because like it just so many random choices could lead to any one of your group being taken. One time there was Evan Stubbs, and it was like, wait, what?
And it was so that was the I think this was kind of the plot hole here though, was the instant ready replacements. Like they
Yeah,
knew who they were already,
that
and
seemed
they knew
very
exactly
fast.
how they developed, what they would look like at this point, how they would exactly dress. I
Yeah.
do think that was a
Yeah,
little
that's
bit
the
of
other weird thing. Is like not only I could understand them knowing like because they've been fighting this resistance for so long that like
Even Caleb's friend that was helping them, who's watching them while Caleb was off with Maeve, gets replaced originally. Remember that guy?
yeah.
So they don't really
Hmm.
explain how they already knew that, and I did think that was a flaw in their writing, for
No, that's a good
this
point because
in these areas.
like I was saying, like I could understand them knowing what the resistance fighters look like, maybe, but yeah, and have them have like literally the exact clothes like immediately. Like maybe they saw them like the second they ran walked into the city, and they just like real quick were like, okay, fabricate these clothes.
Yeah,
But yeah, that seems like you got to make a lot of assumptions to make that shit make sense.
yeah, there was yeah, pretty much. Um, and then yeah, so Frank, she has her own little life that she has her girlfriend, and which is really the only other surviving human besides that other outlier. It feels like you just kind of like, how
Yeah,
many people are alive? Um, and I guess they're all going back to the desert where it's sad and depressing and desert.
yeah, it's just like anywhere outside the city.
Yeah. Uh, but she learns from her dad. She pretty much becomes her father, more or less, with everything he had trained her as a little girl. She took all of that and somehow made that her kind of blueprint as she grew up, which was pretty cool. I mean, also considering she didn't really have any options, since
Yeah.
it was just her mom, and a few survivors when the robots took over. And then who else do we still have? Okay, we're nearing the finish of it. We just have a few more. Uh, the Man in Black and Hale. So the Man in Black and William, more or less, like the Man in Black becomes William. He's like doubting himself, getting bored, not understanding what his purpose is. Which that's the whole thing with the hosts that are now in charge. They literally don't know what to do now because they're still hosts. They have a limited viewpoint of what is the point of anything, especially if they have a sense of immortality, of continuing to just keep building themselves up over and over and over to where they can even make modifications of themselves or just get new
Yeah.
bodies.
And that was the thing.
So
Like Hale was like, I built this city as like a distraction, like a temporary distraction or whatever. Like I was expecting us to evolve as a species because we can. Like we don't have to limit ourselves to these human shapes.
and she's in charge and she doesn't do shit. That's the funny
Yeah.
thing. And all they do
Well,
is
she
hunt.
tried to get people to ascend into those weird ass looking bodies that are just like two legs and no arms. Like
Yeah.
I don't see what makes that frame so good.
No, it's just I think it's because it's outside. It eliminates the image that the humanity set for
Yeah, that's
them.
the only thing I could think of is that it just doesn't look human.
Yeah, it's a whole new different thing. And they still have the fucking weird, like, still mindless hosts that are like just the white
Yeah.
ones, which was weird. And they still bleed, which
Yeah,
is funny
I
enough.
wonder like how intelligent are those?
I don't know because they don't have speech, so it's really hard to
Yeah.
say. Like, you don't really get much from them. So I assume they're pretty much just like robotic, like ultimate robot without they're emotionless versions of the hosts,
Yeah.
if
I guess
anything.
it's like they're robots, whereas the hosts are androids, I guess.
Yeah, actually, that's a good way of saying it, honestly. But Hale can't figure out what the fuck she wants to do either, and both of them are pretty much just kind of like in this bored. It's funny because they're bored, but also they want to solve all the problems they have of like those humans, which still won't solve their problems. It's just there's now other people that aren't under their control, and that's more or less what's getting them like pissed off, if anything. Besides the fact that I guess they know also the threat of them because they know they could try to stop them at the same time, which is why they consistently want to just kill them all. Uh, and with Hale, like she has that. Well, I guess sorry to go back to Man Black. I don't know why I left that completely, but
No.
they go back to William a lot of the time, and William more or less is defeated at this point, which I feel bad because you think, oh, he's alive again, so he has a chance, and it's like, no, he doesn't. He
Yeah, he
definitely
never
does
gets
not.
out of that.
And once
He did
the
convince his like copy to kill himself finally.
yeah, the Man in Black keeps coming back, and each time he comes back, he's less like the image Hale set of him, and more like the image that William is embedding in blueprinting him, more or less. And each time that happens, he's becoming more and more the Man in Black. He becomes the character from the film
He
Westworld.
literally like puts on like the hat and everything
Yeah,
again.
and goes back to that way of just like I'm an apex predator, I'm a hunter, and I'm here to make sure I'm the last man standing. That is his
Yeah, like
goal.
I live for the game, and that's it.
And that's what William did, which was, over obsessive. And then you see this is what happens when you game too hard, guys.
Eh,
You gotta let go of the game, go outside again. Because it reminds me of how depressing William's story is when you think about like his own past. It actually everything that happens after he has that adventure with Dolores is just sad.
sad,
It's really
yeah.
sad. Oh no, they let
Like, oh
go
no,
of
my
the
entire
robot.
family hates me because they think I'm a monster because I am.
It's God, it's so fun. I killed my own dude. That was the worst part. He killed his own daughter because he thought she was a
Yeah.
host. That was so
Wow.
fucking
Yeah.
sad. That's God. I feel like if he didn't do that, maybe he would have been different by the end of it. But I don't know really at the same time. And like we said, he kills William and becomes William more or less. He becomes that Man in Black and does this thing until he's finally taken down by um, by Hale when Hale has that change of heart, which it literally takes Maeve and Bernard sacrificing themselves to turn uh Hale to turn Wyatt and have
That was
Wyatt
really
finally
interesting to
understand.
me that like Hale actually in the end was like, fuck, you're right. I have to at least do something to try to minimize the damage I've done.
And Hale sacrifices herself too, to an extent where she kind of just kills herself by the end of it too. Like, she does survive and could keep going on, but she sees no point in it because there's a lack of
Yeah,
just, I guess,
that was interesting
motivation.
and weird.
It was hella weird, but like, yeah, she gives all the power to Dolores, and it's just like, it's up to you now, and then literally removes her own core and then crushes it,
Yeah, I
eliminating
don't know how
herself.
her body did that without the
Maybe it was
command
like one
pearl.
command for her to do, and
Yeah,
once
that's
that
the only
command is
thing I can think
initiated, it
of.
just finished it off, and then it was
Yeah.
just over, and she looked hella robotic by the end of it, which
What
is
if that's
interesting.
literally just like the self-destruct feature that the original designers put in, is like, yeah, have the frame literally pull its own pearl out and crush it.
Well, that's the thing. That was her own design. Like, the way
That's a
she
good point,
was, that
actually.
wasn't
Yeah.
human design at that point either. Uh, so that was her end, and then the last two characters is just Dolores and Teddy, which Teddy, he does everything and helps wake up Dolores. I forget what her fake name was, but
Yeah, I forget.
it turns out, we find out she's a program. She's not even visibly there, and she more or less has she gets, doesn't she get some of the Dolores's memories, but she starts
Um,
understanding some of the stuff.
I don't remember if she straight up got Dolores's memories back, but it's more just like she sort of remembered what
Dolores
she used to
was,
be. And
yeah.
yeah.
And Teddy finds out, like, he's there to wake her up, but he is part of her. He's just part of her programming,
Yeah.
as
And
they're kind of like a failsafe for her.
that's so sad that he's basically just like, because she had so much information on him from her experience. I guess she would have had to know some
Did
of
they
their
say that
past then.
Dolores and Teddy are actually in the Sublime? Was that what the thing was?
Well,
Or at least Teddy is?
The real Teddy is still in the Sublime,
Yeah.
but this Dolores was like physically in that pearl that uh Hale like pulled out of the floor or whatever, because she was literally like she seemed to be like the control unit for like at least the stories and stuff. But I don't know.
Okay.
Um but yeah, like it's just interesting that Dolores basically had enough information on the real Teddy that she was able to even like subconsciously recreate him to wake herself up, because like she said something like Teddy is her cornerstone memory and vice versa, like she's his, and that's why they like
I
will
mean,
always find each other and
they
stuff
were
like that.
designed to be together. Like, that was the
Yeah.
whole thing when they were created.
Yeah,
And
that's their story.
yeah, so I do get it. And I
And
do,
it's interesting that like they kind of insinuate that now we're back to Westworld, but it's like a digital Westworld that only Dolores remembers.
yeah. And, it's funny too, because, you have that Evan Rachel Wood and James Marsden. And I always enjoy James Marsden. I always forget, like, I'm always reminded, like, dude, James Marsden was Cyclops in X-Men. And I'm always like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, dude. And I know he's, like, I guess in Sonic, I don't talk about that. And he's in Anchorman too, which is still
Oh
fucking funny.
yeah.
He's the one who's like, I forget what he says, but he's like, you did this to me. And he's like, he like does that fucking right before the newscaster fight in Anchorman 2. He does like this fucking funny, like, sad cry, but he like stops his cry. But it's every time I watch it, I'm just dead. I'm already dying. I'm fucking laughing my ass off. Uh, but he's great, and Evan Rachel Wood, like, I feel like this is her first thing, or at least the only thing I've ever known her in. And I'm very curious to see,
Yeah, I
like,
don't know if
what
I
she'll do
recognize
after
her from anything
this,
else.
because I'm always like, oh yeah, she's Westworld's Amelia Clark,
Yeah.
because that's kind of what it feels like half the time. Because, like, you don't know who Amelia Clark was before this, and then now you had her in that Terminator movie and all this
Like
other stuff now too.
I gotta really hand it to like the actress that plays Dolores slash Wyatt slash like all these other characters,
Evan Rachel Wood, yeah.
because like throughout the seasons she's had to display so many different personalities that it's like, and she does it so well.
Yeah.
Like the moment in the first season where Dolores like makes the choice and like kind of, she doesn't like snap, but she like chooses to go out and kill um oh man, Anthony Hopkins's character.
Wasn't it hang on, I'll just look it up real fast. Already had
But
the
yeah,
IMDb open.
like just the change on her
Dr.
face.
Robert Ford.
Ford, right.
Yeah.
And like it was like And then yeah, when she's like Wyatt instead of Dolores, and like Dolores is such like a meek, like innocent character, and then Wyatt is just like, I will murder
Ruthless.
everyone in this town.
Yeah,
Like, is so interesting.
it is.
And it's just like, again, kudos to the actress for being able to even pull that shit off like so well.
Very much so. Uh, and then they've already said season 5 will be the 5th and final season. That it was already set to be, I guess, 5 seasons. This is the finale.
So there's
for
going
it.
to be one more. Okay.
Yeah, the whole like whatever simulation she's running is, I think, going to be the end of it. Because when you, I guess, roll call here, Maeve permadead, Wyatt / Hale permadead, Man in Black permadead, Bernard permadead, Stubbs permadead, Caleb permadead. Who's not permadead?
Caleb's daughter for now.
Yeah, we just have straight up. I don't even know if they're going to do anything with her. I think whatever.
Probably not.
I think because the whole thing is she's going to run like a simulation, and in that simulation, the people in the simulation have to prove themselves to pass a test, and if they pass that test, she will save them.
I think that seems to be what they're hinting at.
Yeah. Which I'm very curious. Like, is it going to be exactly all the characters from season 1? Then is it going to be only hosts, or are there going to be any human type characters returned as part of the simulation too?
That's a good question. Oh yeah.
What if they
Dude, what if William is still there?
I was going to say, what if they bring back young William for this? That would be very interesting.
Oh, that I didn't even think of that either.
I don't see this show coming back until like 2024, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, like it was a while between this season and the last one, to the point
that
where
was
like
also,
I forgot a bunch of stuff.
Wasn't the last season pre-COVID, or was it during COVID?
No, it definitely was. I was at Davis when it was running.
So it was okay. So I think COVID slowed this one down. So I do think it'll take like I think it'll be 2024 when we get it. It'll probably like summer 2024, most likely. I don't think I think they take more time with this than they do with other shows, if anything, because I know a lot of shows come back every year.
Yeah,
this is one of those few that don't. But
I'm totally fine with that. Like this show is always like such high quality writing and like production value that like however long it takes, just do it right. Don't Game of Thrones it.
Yeah, don't Game of Yes, don't do that.
Dude, there's like a news story recently where it's like
oh, I know,
George R. R. Martin like
that's actually old news. I remember hearing that way before.
To do like 10 seasons.
Yeah, he said that a long time ago, honestly. I don't know why. I felt it was very weird that became new news again when that was very old news. When I'm pretty sure I heard that years ago. We already knew about that.
Just because the House of Targaryen is going on again.
And they just resurfaced it, and people are like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Bruh, we've been done that. Come on, man." But yeah, all right. That is Westworld, and fine. I will not include Bullet Train in this episode.
Okay.
We don't have enough time. It's 2.5 hours at this point, so I think we'll stop here. I was joking, like we're not gonna. I was like serious, like we're not gonna make it to 3 hours. And now I'm like, if I talk about Bullet Train, we're gonna get close to 3 hours, so I'll just stop here. I figure we'll just title this episode like Westworld Gamescom.
Maybe tack it on to Sunday's episode as like an extra bonus.
Huh?
I just like I know Sunday's episode is going to be mostly the Disney movies and stuff, but it'd be hilarious to just like tack on Bullet Train randomly.
Oh, tack on Bullet Train. I mean, we can. It depends how much we talk about all the Disney's. Just put Disney and Bullet Train. Lightyear, Bullet Train, and other Disney films. Oh god, these titles will be great. We'll see. This one will straight up. I think the title of this one will just be commas. It'll be title, comma, title, comma, title, comma, and then that's how it's gonna happen. Because like I said, guys, algorithm has forced me to straight up put the names of each product in it now. So Lightfall, Westworld, Gamescom, Godzilla. I don't know. That's probably
fuck DC.
Fucking DC. Oh god. Return of the Trinity. Who knows? It's be like a 10 sentence fucking title. I don't know. But that has been Sutro Sidetalk. If you'd like to contact us, you can at sutrosidetalk@gmail.com. You can send us any comments, feedback, or questions that we can read on the show and answer on the show. You can also follow Sutro Sidetalk on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow that cat at cat. Don't actually do that.
Yeah, I didn't want him to step on the power strip in the back of my computer because he's done that once before.
Have you seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yes.
Remember what happens to the cat?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, so you can follow us TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Sutro Sidetalk. You can follow James on Twitter at InvaderJim124, and you can follow me on Twitter at GoGoComzilla. Subscribe on all the platforms you're listening on. That would really help us out. If it is Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star review. That would really, really, really help us out. If it's Spotify, if you can rate us. And if it is YouTube, if you can like besides subscribing, that would also help for each episode. And then, of course, please, guys, share it out to people you know. If you think someone would be interested in hearing about games, movies, TV, all that stuff, or even separate stuff, they don't have to listen to all the episodes. Maybe they just want to listen to the ones we talk about, shows or movies, whatever. Just that would help us out too, guys. Really, really would help us out.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna be leaving this Thursday to a wedding. I have like you heard all at the beginning, all the shit I have to fucking do. But because of that, I won't be here the coming weekend. I'll be at a wedding and Dragon Con, and maybe you might see some cosplay stuff on the podcast account of Instagram. We'll see. But the episodes that'll come out that next week we'll record this weekend. So today is Friday night. It's like the 27th. It's fucking, or it was the 26th. It is past midnight now.
Oh my
But
god, you're right.
yeah,
We've been recording for 2 days.
I have to get up in like 6 hours or something at this point. I'm not even sure. Probably 6 hours. I fucking hate everything.
Have fun watching Lightyear. Cat fur.
Oh, that's what that was. I can see that too from here.
Oh
But
gosh.
yeah, so we have that this week. We're recording. So we don't know yet. I'm still trying to get the shit hammered down. The Sad Watch episode coming out this coming week, which we're recording on Sunday too. It's either going to be Yojimbo, the Akira Kurosawa movie, which we're gonna have Roman with us. That's if we can get Roman for this week, for Sunday. If we cannot, we will be doing the Sugarland Express, which is the first theatrical film of Steven Spielberg. So that's like our July movie versus our May movie. So we're either getting the first May movie or first July movie in August. Who knows what's going on? And then next week, so we're recording Sunday for Sutro Sidetalk 164, where we're going to have all Disney movies. So we're talking Lightyear, Turning Red, 2 Pixar movies, that's crazy, Encanto, and Rescue Rangers. And if we have time now, Bullet Train, the most important Disney movie. So we'll see about what that's going to look like, though. And we'll put that out next week. So you'll know that's pre-recorded, though. And on Monday, we're either recording Sugarland Express or Jaws for Steven Spielberg for Sutro Side Watch. So that'll be the next week too, because we're trying to catch up still on it, and we've been like behind again. So Brandon and I are trying to bring that all back, and we're going to do our best for that. We'll see how it goes. TikTok wise, I'm like getting there. Like got through all the news episodes of cutting shit off. I just see Paw, Jesus Christ. But
tail.
That was the tail. I just saw something like, but
yeah, no, he's trying to get behind my computer, and I'm just like, no, stop.
Oh my god. But I'm like, I think I'm on like our Witcher episode that we did for season 2. I have to cut that up next. So actually, that's another thing before I go to Atlanta. If I can try to get all of these done, all the TikToks done, so I'm just done and I could just focus on that kind of still episode, that'll be great. I'll be on the plane just like researching or something like that. In my spare time, I'll probably be doing that. But that's another goal I'm going to have. But I'm going to try to do that. I'm trying to get everything done, like pre-done and already cut up, so I can just keep throwing them out. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's everything. That's all the updates I got for now for everything. And I think that's enough for you guys. I'm sorry if it was really, really long, but we haven't done a long episode like this in a long time. That has been the show, and we will catch you guys next week. So long.
Thanks for listening.